Thomas Paine, Thomas Paine, Thomas Paine, Sam Adams, Sam Adams, Sam Adams, Benjamin Franklin, Benjamin Franklin, Benjamin Franklin. These men spoke up for what they thought was right. From their courage came such documents as the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution of the United States. From their willingness to speak what was sometimes unpopular but right, we enjoy such liberties as freedom of speech, the right to keep and bear arms, and freedom of religion. There are those who still wish to oppress our freedoms, and there are still patriots willing to stand up and defend life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Men like Zeb Bell, who honor our founding fathers and what they stood for. It's now time for Zeb at the Ranch, speaking up and defending your freedoms. Brought to you by Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers and all of the other great advertisers on the program. And now, Zeb Bell.
I have in my hands the definition of a flashlight. A flashlight is a case for holding dead batteries. And my other word of wisdom for this morning, God gave us all toes. That's right, our little toesies, for a device to find furniture in the dark. Good morning, everybody. Here comes Kate Smith and God Bless America, followed by a Patriot with our Pledge of Allegiance. It has been a not fun morning so far. Oh, thank you very much, Kate Smith, and good morning. It's been interesting as, of course, Zeb at the Ranch. I'm Zeb Bell with our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations serving you, along with some of our great advertisers, including Lee's Furniture, Floors, and More at 459 Overland in Burley, and our friends at Ramsey Heating and Electric. Let's not forget them. Wonderful people, 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley. And right now we say good morning. How many times have I said good morning to you this morning?
Well, about 3 or 4.
You know, let's do some of the prelims, and then we'll discuss. We can laugh about it now, but earlier this morning it wasn't so funny.
It wasn't so funny. No, it wasn't.
But we will. I tell you what we'll do. Who's going to do the pledge this morning?
I am. But I figured I would.
I would really appreciate it. So you do the pledge, and then we'll have Michael Rogers weather. Go ahead.
You got it. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Absolutely excellent. And right now, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for America's #1 weatherman. Here is Michael Rogers weather.
Good morning. Temperature is right around the low 40s, and we got what we basically, as I'm going to call a yucky kind of a day. You got clouds and showers throughout much of the day, and also for tonight, you can possibly may see a thunderstorm. Wind's going to be windy, too. Winds are going to be out of the west, about 10 to 20 miles an hour. Daytime highs for today, mid to upper 50s. Overnight lows will be in the upper 30s, and you'll go through this period for today and tonight, and you will come out of it tomorrow, and guess what? Have yourself a nice weekend. Hope to see you at NASCAR. That's where I'm going to be at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. If you're heading down 93, weather looks good all the way down if you're heading down on Friday. Enjoy the day, enjoy the weekend, enjoy the weather. It's the only weather you got.
All right. Thank you very much, Michael. We appreciate it. Hey, Merv, let's come on in and sell some cattle this morning.
All right, good set of steer calves there. Here to get all 31, 1.5, 31, 1.5, and 32, 2.5.
That is the chant of the world's best auctioneer, Merv May, at the Burley Livestock Sale Yard, 1100 Occidental Avenue in Burley, 678-9411. The number to call. Merv May, Lance Udy, and the rest of the crew. They've got a ripping good sale starting this morning at 10:30. Don't forget P-Bar S Dairy going to be bringing in a semi-load of cows. Southridge Dairy bringing in 2 semi-load of butcher cows. Moo Mountain Dairy a semi-load of cows. David Bell of Albion bringing down 40 head of yearlings. And then we have the Fusion family bringing in 30 head of calves. The Shank family, 39 head of calves. And from Shoshone, they've got 25 head of yearlings coming down. And Rule Baker of Alba's bringing in 15 head of yearlings. And there's going to be a long line of people bringing trailers with cattle in. So it's going to be a dandy sale. 10:30 starting time this morning at the Burley Livestock Sale Yard, 1100 Occidental Avenue in Burley, 678-9411. Merv, sell those steers.
All right, A good set of steer calves there, here to get $31, 1.5, 31, 1.5, 32, 2.5, 3.5, 134, 4.5, 5.5, 130, 550, 135, and $7.35. Zeb Mel, get bottom again.
Yeah, I did hit bottom already this morning. That's true. Ladies and gentlemen, I got to tell you that some things happened this morning that we didn't expect. And early this morning, yours truly had to make a quick run to the emergency room in Twin Falls. And I had to run over there and because I was having some real severe swelling in that leg where I had the surgery. And so anyway, we got into the emergency room early this morning, and we sat there, and everybody was really nice and took care of us. But then I looked at my watch, and I said, ooh, if I don't make it back, I better call Gina. And I called, and I've said, like I said, no kidding, I've said good morning to you 37 times probably, and woke you up, and I want to apologize.
Oh, no. Never apologize for waking me up. If it's an emergency, I do expect you to call. I always have my phone right there next to me, so don't apologize.
Well, we got out of there and we ran, literally. It's a good thing there weren't a lot of county and state police officers on the road, and we got back in time to get things ready for the program. So thank you for all of your help. We appreciate it.
Oh, anytime. And seriously, I have been in heart attack panic mode since about 6 o'clock this morning, so I shot up out of bed. I ran through the shower, threw everything out for my son to get ready. Of course, my brother helps with that as well and gets him to school, but I was like, I gotta go.
You know, that's how we felt over here too, my lovely bride, you know, get in the pickup, we're gonna go now, hurry up, let's go, run, and the poor dog standing in the middle of the floor looking like, what in the world, is this a Chinese fire drill or what?
Was Deanne driving?
I drove in.
And she drove out?
No, I drove both ways, and she doesn't like to drive my truck.
Right, okay.
And I could be absolutely probably dying of a heart attack, and she would say, I ain't driving your truck.
Well, I'm kind of wondering how much of a lead foot you had, but I'm not going to ask because I'm just going to rather assume that you did.
I would just assume that we gloss over that part of the story this morning. I would just assume.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, and by the way, you're going to be very surprised when I say this, because I've forgotten to do it every morning this week, but it's a tip of the coffee cup right now. Yes, a tip of the coffee cup goes to the staff at St. Luke's Emergency Room in Twin. I want to say thanks to them. And I also want to mention, of course, some wonderful people, Marlon and Davey Mussman, wonderful people who live right here in Murtaugh. And, of course, Mr. and Mrs. Berwin and Millie Mussman. They listen every morning, and we want to say good morning to them. So I got my tip of the coffee cup out of the way this morning. And now I guess we can just sit back and do a whole bunch of commercials and take phone calls at 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Valley White Home and Ranch want to say thanks, 910 South Oneida in Rupert. Oh, boy. Coming up in March, mid-March. As a matter of fact, next week we're going to be looking forward to Chick Day. Wrong chick. Chick Day is going to be March 17th, and they'll have all the feeders, waterers, lamps, everything for your chicks. And don't forget, too, you can stop in. They've got all the pine shavings for your horse trailers and stalls and smart lick tubs and cattle lick blocks. They've got it all for you, along with being mighty nice folks at Valley White Home and Ranch, 910 South Oneida in Rupert. You stop in and see them today. While you're running around, you might want to stop into Ramsey Heating and Electric and check out all the incandescent light bulbs. Now, they bought a bunch. I don't know, really. I guess it would be fair to say that they literally bought thousands. But they've got light bulbs in their incandescent light bulbs, 40, 60, 75, and 100 watt. And they've got rid of a bunch, but they've got a lot left. They've stocked up, and you are going to be the beneficiary. So get in there today and purchase those incandescent light bulbs. Stock up. Ramsey Heating and Electric, 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley, where they always provide warm winters and cool summers. Very nice people. Ramsey Heating and Electric. All right, let's get some calls coming in here. 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. We have committed fighter jets. I'm a little bit tentative about all of this. We have committed fighter jets to the Ukrainian area, the region, And I'm a little tentative about what kind of a problem this will lead to, the escalation factor, possibly even boots on the ground. I hope and I pray, and I mean this, that Vladimir Putin sees the erroneous errors of his ways and stops any further penetration into the Ukraine to take over more of that region. You know, you're not going to believe this, but Deanne handed me a note here a little bit ago that Vladimir Putin, and I'm not making this up, is one of 278 candidates this year for the Nobel Peace Prize. I'm not making it up. Here is a former KGB thug, and showing that thugism, if you will, as to what he's doing over in the Ukraine with the invasion, basically, armed takeover of that region. And this guy is nominated with 278 other contestants and candidates to be the Nobel Peace Prize winner for this year. You've got to be kidding me. It just shows you how messed up our world is. And here's something else to consider, too. In our country, there has been a lot of polling going around all over the United States, east, west, north, south, all over this country, and people are being asked, Americans are being asked, what do they think about Obama as a president? What do they think about Obama as a leader of the free world? And what do they think about Obama's foreign policy? Well, to sum it up, right now this morning, he is down to the lowest that he's ever been on any and all categories combined. He is at a 38% approval rate, and quite frankly, a lot of people like Charles Krauthammer and others think it's going to slip and should slip a lot lower. 38% approval rate, and they have said that Obama has failed miserably as President of the United States. Your thoughts and calls, give me a jingle, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Oh boy, the fellas and ladies at Berry Equipment and Rental, they've got the Doosan heavy equipment. Oh, these are big dudes. These are big dudes, hardest working, most reliable heavy equipment on the planet. And I'll tell you what, you're talking about reliable and quality with Doosan. You can check it out at Berry Equipment and Rental, 2 locations, 465 Addison Avenue West in Twin Falls with old Eli and the crew. And then right down the road on Highway 30 at 159, West Highway 30 in Burley, Nick and Rosie and everybody else. They've got several in stock, big price advantage, and a 48-hour parts guarantee at Berry Equipment and Rental. They are serving you. Stop in and talk to those folks today. Berry Equipment and Rental, they've got everything you need. Okay, good folks. Now, don't leave me hanging here this morning, because I have not had a lot of preparation time this morning due to the fact of everything going on, and we'd appreciate hearing your calls. Oh, and real quick, too, I want to remind you, Rogge Auctions is going to have a great big spring auction this Saturday, March 8th. Now, this is going to be a ripping good sale. Cade and the rest of the crew, they don't do anything second class. It's all first class, let me tell you. Rogge Auctions having the big spring cleanup Minidoka County Fairgrounds sale starting at 11 a.m. sharp this Saturday, March 8th. For more information, call Cade at 431-0074 or go to their website, RoggeAuction.com. And they're going to have tractors and all kinds of cars and vehicles and guns and miscellaneous items and a lot of wagons. And they've got one in particular that really would be a keeper. A Surrey wagon with the tassels on it and everything, wood wheels, going to be ripping good sale this Saturday. Rogge Auctions, March 8th, this Saturday, 11 a.m., Minidoka County Fairgrounds. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Good morning, Zeb.
Yes, sir.
What did you think of that email?
I'm going to be very honest with you. I don't think I've got it yet, and I can't recall what you were referring to. Maybe you didn't hear earlier. I was in the emergency room at the hospital this morning early, and I haven't had a lot of chance to look or read anything, so I apologize.
Well, you responded yesterday. You said thanks that you did get it. It was about the U.S. Air Force space.
Oh, yes. That was absolutely amazing. Tell you what I'm going to do. I'm trying to find it here on my desk amongst all the clutter that I have, and evidently I didn't put it on my desk. But give me a real short recap as to what the deal was with the Air Force and the Muslims that were hired to be Muslim clerics.
Yeah, they advertised in a paper, and the people that run the paper are connected with the Muslim Brotherhood and Al-Qaeda.
Yeah.
And they advertise for clerics to preach to the soldiers and prisoners.
And the ties to Al-Qaeda is absolutely essential to bring into the conversation. You know, it wasn't that long ago, Doug, as you'll recall, that Michelle Bachmann from Minnesota questioned the White House, questioned Obama, and questioned Hillary Clinton, Secretary of State, as to why they would bring Muslim Brotherhood members into the cabinet and other positions. And then, if you'll remember, our illustrious United States Congressman Mike Simpson sent her a blatant letter of condemnation. And when I questioned Mike about it on the program, he said that all of us that were wondering about it were nothing more than McCarthyists. Well, I'll tell you what, we're right, he's wrong.
Yes, I mean, why bring people in that we are fighting so that they can fight us within? Is that what we're going to do? We're going to bring them in, and then we're going to have to fight them here on our soil?
Yeah.
I mean, let's keep them out. Like, they're trying to get rid of this German couple that just want to homeschool their kids because it's illegal in Germany, and they say a godless country in Germany, so they wanted to homeschool their kids here. But they're wanting to kick them out and bring these clerics in that want to install Sharia law.
The day is going to loom on the horizon that we as the United States public are going to rue that day where we made such lax and frivolous and stupid movements to enhance the people that want to kill us, that call us infidels, into not only our government but also our society.
Yes, that's very true. And you know, just like it says in the book of Revelation, you know, we need to stand up. If you don't stand up for God, He won't stand up for you.
There you go. I got to run and do another commercial, my friend. Thanks. God bless.
Have a great day.
You betcha. I appreciate that. In just a moment, I want to talk about kind of a related subject to that, about the atheists that are really demanding something in New York City, and we'll talk about that in just a moment. Calls are welcome and appreciated. Hey, don't forget, later on this morning, we're going to talk to Thomas over at Denny's Restaurant, 611 Overland, North Overland in Burley. And, boy, they've had great community support, and you can get in there and celebrate your birthday at Denny's with a free Grand Slam. Oh, that is good. All you have to do is bring in your valid ID to provide and prove that it's your birthday. And all they'll do is just say, sit down and enjoy the food. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner, it's always great. Food is great. People are nice. Everything is fantastic at Denny's Restaurant, 611 North Overland in Burley. And it's the home. It is the home of Zeb's Lunch Bunch. We really appreciate it. All right, give me a call, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Atheists back in New York City are demanding that the ironworks that looks like a cross. Now, you've probably seen this on television. It is part of the framework, the steel framework of the Twin Towers. And when everything broke and absolutely came tumbling and shattering down, this piece of metal broke off to resemble a cross. And there it was in the rubble, standing proud. And workers and city members and people from all over the United States have said, please save it. Please save it as part of remembrance of what happened that day. And also leave the cross there as a vigil that it doesn't ever happen again. But the atheists say no. That cross, that ironworks cross, has to be taken away and moved to another site or thrown away entirely because the atheists say it promotes Christianity. You know what? I don't care. I really don't care about what they want or don't want. I want it left there. And 80% plus of the people in this country that call themselves Christians should be standing up and looking at these atheists ready to spit in their eye and say, no, the cross stays there. Don't think about touching it because it may be the last thing you ever reach out and try to grab. It's going to stay there. When are we going to stand up and fight for what is right? Fight to keep a part of our heritage. Fight to keep a moral value in this country. Win. This is a golden opportunity to tell the atheist really where they can go and how long it might take to get there. What are your thoughts on that? Should we all of a sudden just get weak-kneed on every single thing that they demand? Every single thing they demand. This has got to go. This is within eyesight. You got to take this cross down. No, you can't do that. No, you can't have a Christian display at Christmas time. No. When are we going to draw a line in the sand and stand by it and just tell them to bring it on? Bring it on. Come on. Let's see. You bring your 5, 6, 7% of your atheism. Come on. Let's have at it. I watched another version of The Alamo on TV the other night, and when they were told by Colonel Travis how devastating it was going to be with the Mexican army in Santa Ana, and he gave an opportunity to the people to run and try to escape from the Alamo, they all looked at each other, and you could see them swelling with pride that they were going to be fighting for a cause. When are we going to fight for a cause? When are we going to stand up for Christianity and say to these atheists, take a hike? Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Hello there. Hi there.
Yeah, I'm listening, sir. Go ahead, quickly.
Oh, yeah, well, Christianity is being attacked right and left, and we need to take a stand against it. I've never seen such a multitude against Christianity since I've seen under this administration. And I believe Congress has taken, they don't have no more Christian senses in Washington. Ever since they took the Bible out of the schools, and we've seen a lot of this. I don't think there really is, it's under heavy attack, and democracy in this country is part of being a Christian.
Absolutely.
We cannot have a democracy without being a Christian. Our founding fathers were all Christians, and that was a result of democracy. And when we go to Iraq and all those countries, Muslim countries, we can never have a democracy in those countries. It's not about Christianity. There's Muslims, and we have different rules, and our rules are more sacred because of our religious beliefs.
You know, I agree with everything you said, and I'm personally going to stand up and say if anybody touches that cross, the atheists, I think there should be all-out warfare in the court systems and everything else. I wish the 80% of the people in this country that call themselves Christians would stand up and basically look in the eye of the atheist and say, bring it on. Bring it on. We're sick of this.
Well, I believe our churches are not as strong as they used to be. We don't have the Billy Graham, the Oral Roberts, and all those people that were here before. I can remember when there used to be singing hymns and everywhere across this land about it. We don't have the same song singing in churches anymore.
I agree with you.
Now, we have now wine. We have another agenda in the churches. We have a pope that said that we have religion has turned out about. We don't have the same religion that our founding fathers had.
I agree with you. I agree with you, sir. I absolutely find you to be absolutely correct. I don't think, and I mean this.
You will never see me in a church that participating in that kind of music, and they call it hymns.
Yeah.
What kind of music is that? We don't have the same values in churches anymore that we had in our founding fathers. People like Billy Graham and all the evangelists, you know, we had the same. They were built on this. But I can remember times that we were preaching the true gospel. Now we're preaching another gospel, the gospel of prosperity and self-help books.
I agree. You know, sir, I have to take a hard break at the bottom of the hour, but I take my hat off to you, and I salute you for having the courage and the forthrightness to speak your mind, and I totally agree with you. Thank you for your comments.
Thank you.
God bless you. God bless you. He's right. I absolutely agree. Right now I know somebody else that's right, too, and that's Jim McCall over at Travel Loop Supply. He's been waiting patiently. Good morning, Jim. How are you?
Good morning, Zeb. Yeah, I like that guy.
He's right on, isn't he? He's spot on. What's going on over at Travel Loop Supply, my dear friend?
Hey, it is time the tractors are starting to roll out in the fields. Mm-hmm. We have still got filters. I have 2 semi-trailers full of get my tongue to work yet. I got 2 semi-trailer loads full of filters.
Wow.
And I got up to 90% off on anything that's in those trailers.
Wow. Okay. All right, up to now up to 90% off on the filters.
Antifreeze and WD-40. We've got chain for your wheel lines. We got a couple of wheel line motors left. Come on in and call Heather and see what one of these will work for you. And the other thing is here at the farm we have some trees. I've got some blue spruce, 2 to 10 foot tall trees.
Okay.
And we need the room on the farm. Come and look at them. See if there's something work for you. We can dig them, put them in a basket for you. Come take a look. They're
all right.
Really nice trees.
You know, and when Jim says that's the way it is, that's the way it is. I'll tell you what, Jim McCall, Travel Lube Supply, dear friend of mine. And also they've got all your nuts and bolts and everything in metric and standard. And don't forget, 1050 West, 203 South of Hayburn. The number to call, Travel Lube Supply, 438-8730. Jim, have a wonderful day and stay dry.
Thanks, Zeb. Hope your leg's better.
It will be. Thanks, buddy. I appreciate it. God bless you.
You bet.
Thank you very much. Right now we're running just a tad late. My fault. But here comes the Capital Press Ag Minute.
Today's Ag Minute brought to you by the Capital Press, the West Ag Weekly.
A series of storms over the last 2 weeks have dumped much-needed snow and rain across the Northwest, easing but not eliminating concerns that water supplies will be tight this summer. Generally, the water situation across the West has improved significantly over last month. In Washington, the snowpack recently reached 52% of normal statewide, up from 55% of normal at the beginning of February. February moisture totals were well above normal throughout Idaho and near record levels in certain areas of the state, dramatically changing a water outlook that remained dire through the end of January. Precipitation among southern Idaho basin ranged from 150 to 200% of normal. This is Hannah Browse.
For more agriculture news and information, turn to the West Ag Weekly, the Capital Press, and CapitalPress.com.
You know, that gentleman that called in a few minutes ago, if he's still listening, I just want to say how much I salute you and thank you for being forthright about everything you said. And many times on the program, and there have been some that have voiced disapproval with my comments about churches today and how some churches and also some of their pastors just don't have the backbone and the spine to stand up there in the pulpit and preach the Bible as to what it says. I again want to thank that man for calling because he was spot on, correct, and I agree with him. Thank you very much. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Yes, a couple quick comments, Zeb. There was a young boy who grew up in Germany years ago, and his father was a dedicated Jewish attendee. He went to the synagogue every day, and their life was, surrounded by the church. And this young boy's father had to move to a different city in Germany, and the father, who was supposed to be so dedicated to his Jewish religion, switched because there was no synagogue in the new town. He became a Lutheran. Mm-hmm. And as the boy saw that his father had done this, not for reasons of, being committed to the right things, but for temporal reasons, for business reasons, he switched his entire life to the Lutheran Church. Well, this boy became so disheartened and disillusioned by what his father, who he thought was a great man. As this boy became disillusioned, he eventually left home and went to study in England. And he eventually became somebody that wrote the Communist Manifesto. His name was Karl Marx. And This just shows you that parenting and sticking to our principles was literally how important it was. Look what we have because of something that occurred to a young boy's life.
Well, look at the situation today. Look at our situation today. I mean, my goodness sakes, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to sit down and look at the world around us. Just quietly sit still. Maybe turn on a little bit of the news. Maybe read a newspaper. Maybe do some research on your own. You can't turn to any point on the compass right now where there isn't some turmoil, some strife, and somebody wanting to kill somebody else. We need more religion. We need more of our background that we had in this country. We need a lot more of our morality that we've seemed to discard, and I'll go toe-to-toe with anybody that argues with me on that.
That's right. This is a little example. Albert Einstein hated religion and hated the fact that there was supposed to be a God. And as he grew, he realized that there was a God. But as he was in exile in Germany during Hitler's reign, the Jews were being shipped off. And he said there was one thing that stood between Hitler and what he ended up doing. And that was the Christian people standing up and doing the right thing. And as the one person said, he would be singing in church, singing the hymns. And he says they could hear the whistles of the trains carrying off the Jews. And as the whistles blew, they sang louder and louder so they would cover this sound because they knew that they were not doing what they were supposed to be doing.
Amen.
So Hitler agreed with these religious Christians in Germany not Hitler, but Einstein, that the only thing between the tyranny is for Christian people, not the leader. The leader should stand up and lead, but the people have to be proactive to themselves to fight back.
Well, and real quickly, and don't give me a long answer on this because I got to do a break, Randy, but as far as the atheists demanding, that word demanding really makes me unsettled, that the ironworks that looks like a cross from the Twin Towers from 9/11 be taken away, that's why I said this morning that the 80% plus people in this country that are Christians, it's time to stand up, look them in the eye, and say, no, it stays there. If you don't like it, that's tough.
Well, again, I believe that each one of us has free will. And a free will, we have responsibility to our Heavenly Father for the free will we have. And we will answer one day for how we have been given this freedom. And we can either stand there proud or we can, who knows what.
I agree.
Who knows how that'll turn out if we do not stand up and take charge of our lives and be responsible citizens.
I agree, Randy. Thank you very much for your call this morning. Appreciate it, buddy. Calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. I've reached a point in my life, I guess that happens with age, and in my case, old age. I'm not going to back up. I'm not going to back up to have somebody whining and pining and saying, oh, that cross offends me, take it down. No, I'm not going to back up for those people. I have no use for those people. If it offends you, look the other way. It's going to stay there. The majority rules. It will stay there. Don't forget Pro Paint, 25th anniversary sale going on right now at 1116 Overland Avenue in Burley. Oh my goodness, the Rancliffe family celebrating 25 years in the paint business. And they've got some great deals for you. Absolutely the best paint, the best stains, the best advice. They've got all the Pittsburgh paints on sale, industrial paint for farm equipment. You better believe it. Brian and Barbara there to serve you at their big anniversary sale. 25 years. Pro Paint, 1116 Overland Avenue in Burley. You stop in and see them today. I'm going to switch gears a little bit here and get into another subject, if you will, that really bothers me. And I've stated so on this program many, many times. Gina and I have talked about it, and many others have got on the air and talked about it. And it's the wussification of our young people, especially young men today. And up in Canada, they just recently had a basketball tournament, but the rules said that all the coaches of all the teams at this basketball tournament had to let the kids play an equal time on the court. Everybody on the team had to play an equal time, and winning was not important. It was just that they were going to play. I absolutely would not let my child play in that kind of a basketball tournament or any kind of a tournament or be involved in that kind of an athletic function. We have got to teach in this life winning and losing. Being a parent is being a winner or a loser. Going and getting a good job or a better job is a part of being a winner or a loser. Athletics teaches that. And I'm sick and tired of these crybabies that say, oh, well, they're all winners. We don't want to damage their psyche. Why, for goodness sakes, they'll all get a blue ribbon. That is barnyard fecal material. I can hear the mic coming on.
Well, this is what I was going to say. Athletics and anything that you would go out and compete in. When you lose, it teaches you about sportsmanship.
Absolutely.
It teaches you how to be humble, how to improve, critique yourself so you know, okay, so next time when I come out here, this is what I need to work on.
Yeah, but stop right there. There's the number one value. It teaches you to get up off the floor and try harder the next time because you can say to yourself in a competitive spirit, I did this wrong this time, but I'm going to try harder the next time.
Exactly. Losing is a bummer, trust me, I know, but it is a necessary evil of life that we have to learn. It teaches our children and us how to be humble.
What are we teaching our kids? What are we teaching your boy, Kennedy, at, what is he, 6 years of age right now? What are we going to teach them when they compete that everybody gets a blue ribbon, everybody's a winner, and they go, well, gee, I can just sit on the bench and get a blue ribbon. I'm as good as the guys that are out there hustling and trying to make the plays. Well, I don't have to do anything. That's the philosophy that is carrying over into trying to get a job later on.
It teaches them entitlement. It teaches them,
Amen.
Well, you know, I can do nothing, and like you said, and get a blue ribbon. No, that's, you cannot, how do I want to put this? It's teaching them that they can pretty much piggyback on everybody else to get what they want, and I am not cool with that.
But, you know, here's the thing we have in this area, and it's unfortunate, and I hope they're listening this morning, because I will never, ever promote an endeavor that where there is no winner, there is no loser, it's all blue ribbons. I won't promote any of that on the air. I don't care if it's a little league baseball game. I don't care if it's a soccer tournament. I don't care what it is. I do not believe in everybody wins, there are no losers. Life is not like that.
When Kennedy was in flag football, they did not give, you know, parents kept score. We know who won and who lost. But as far as the kids were concerned, it was about getting out there and getting experience. So nobody really won the game. When they're that age, when they're 4, 5, 6, I can understand that. But, you know, when he goes up to the next level, it is going to be about winners and losers. And I've had this conversation with Kennedy. Well, I lost, or somebody didn't pick me. And I have to remind him, you know, this is all a part of learning, and this is about growing, and you're not always going to win, honey, and that means that you have to work harder.
There you go. With your mother's attitude is just spot on.
You know, it's we have to teach our children that there are winners and losers in life. We can't always be winners, and winners are winners because they worked hard for it.
But did you hear?
Work hard for it, you're going to get that.
Did you hear what happened though? I didn't finish the entirety of the story, and this will make you mad also.
Okay, and then we've got Fred on the phone.
Okay, I'll take that in just a minute, Fred. Stand by, and then I got a weather forecast too. But one of the teams that won the championship, they won the championship of that tournament. They were disqualified because they found out that a couple of the kids played a little bit less than some of the others. And that is absolutely the wrong lesson to send.
It is the very wrong lesson to send. You know, if you want to win, then honestly you do put out your best players. But if you've got, you know, such a lead, you let the second string players get in there so they can get their experience, because that's just the way it works.
Yep.
That's a hierarchy.
Oh, well, I'll take that call, and then I've got to do a Michael Rogers weather. Real quick, Fred, I'm running late. Good morning, my friend.
Yeah, Zab, that goes on all the way through life.
Absolutely.
There's winners and there's losers.
Absolutely.
The guys that put forth the best, are the winners. They're the ones that get ahead.
Why is it, Fred, and you've been on this earth for quite some time, and you've seen the good, bad, and the ugly, why do you think that we've got away from it in this this new age, if you will? Why? Why have parents decided to change and give everybody a blue ribbon?
I can't understand it. No, I'm not. I never figured on waiting for anybody.
Well, it just really hurts me to think that our society is teaching these kids that mediocrity is okay. No, it's not all right. God gave us all talents, and we can utilize those talents to be the best we can be. And I honestly don't think in general, I'm saying in general, that our school systems and other systems are really making people reach for the stars.
I don't either. No, I definitely don't.
All right, my dear friend, how you feeling this morning?
Oh, I feel great.
Okay, well, by golly, you take care of yourself. God bless you, and thanks for your call.
You do the same, and thanks a lot for the card.
You're very welcome. Thank my lovely bride. She sits upstairs and makes all those cards. She does a wonderful job.
I know that. Well, I thank her, too.
All right. Fred, thanks much. I appreciate it.
You bet. Bye.
We've got to get the weather on here right now, and the weather sponsor for this hour, of course, is Butte Irrigation. Hello, Bryce and the rest of the crew with Butte Irrigation, 116 South, 600 West of Paul, 438-8103. They will get you wet. That's right. They've been serving Magic Valley since 1975, and they've got a new location, too. Oh, my, yes, just a little bit north of Kimberly on Red Cap Corner on Kimberly Road. Yes, sirree, Bob. Talk to the pros with all the answers to your irrigation needs. Butte Irrigation. Here's Michael Rogers Weather.
Hello, everyone. Michael Rogers from MichaelRogersWeather.com. And took 2 showers this morning, and then it's going to pretty much stay yucky all the way through the day. You could even possibly see something we haven't seen all winter long. That's called a thunderstorm. How about that? Winds are going to be out of the west at 10 to 20 miles an hour. That's what happens when you got a cold front. Daytime highs, well, you're going to be right around the mid to upper 50s for today. Overnight lows will be in the mid to upper 30s. Have a great day. Enjoy the weather. It is the only weather you got.
I appreciate it. MichaelRogersWeather.com brought to you this hour by Butte Irrigation in Paul and Kimberly. They will get you wet. All right, calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Another little item in the news this morning. Harry Reid, the Senate Majority Leader, might be in a little hot water. Wouldn't that be refreshing to see him have to squirm a little bit? You know, he came out on the Senate floor at the podium and basically called Americans that were having problems with Obamacare, he called them liars. He said that all the stories about Obamacare, the negative stories, were untrue, and he said that people were basically lying. Well, the one lady that had leukemia, she decided that she was going to make another ad and really go after Harry Reid and the Democrats. Her name is Julie Boonstra. And she just looks at the camera and she says, "My name is Julie Boonstra and I have leukemia." And she said, "Because of Obamacare, I am now stuck with a plan that doesn't work for me." And boy, I mean, she told it like it was. Well, Democratic Representative Gary Peters tried to stop the ad. He tried to stop the TV stations from playing it, and he also now is in a lot of trouble. Free speech, anyone? And Obamacare and Harry Reid may be coming to a kind of a headache right now, because many Americans behind this Julie Boonstra and others that have had trouble with Obamacare are thinking about filing kind of like a class action lawsuit against the senator and against the Democrats, because he and they called them liars. This is going to get interesting. It's not going to go away anytime soon. Your calls, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. While I'm waiting for your call that I know is coming in, and I hope it does, because, again, I apologize. I'm a little bit lack of prepared this morning because we weren't home earlier this morning and had to make a quick run. But we're back, and we'd like to hear from you, so give us a jingle. Don't forget the Big Spring Tire Sale going on at your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations serving you. That's right. And all the tires are on sale, all the different tread designs for your pickups, your cars, and, of course, your SUVs. Let's take a look. Oh, and by the way, too, they've got a lot of the custom wheels on sale, too. So stop in and check those out, and we'll talk about the Open Country MT. Great traction light truck tire, and this tire is on sale. Aggressive traction, 3-ply sidewall, 7-ply tread. You're going to love it at your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. With Lane and Rupert, Dave on Blue Lakes and Twin, Mike and Buell, Mike and Jerome, the Twist family over in Paul, John on Pole Line in Twin Falls, and Randy on Overland and Burley, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. You stop in and see them today. All right, let's get a call in here, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Oh, by the way, Gina, yesterday we were talking about Condoleezza Rice. Remember that?
Yes.
The professors have signed a petition at Rutgers University. This thing is going to blow up and get dirtier. The liberal professors are signing a petition to stop Condoleezza Rice from speaking at the Rutgers University commencement. But they took a poll of the students, and almost all of the students that were polled said, to heck with the professors, we want her to speak. And one professor got on television this morning early, at about 3:30, he was on the news, and he said that she, Condoleezza Rice, is not qualified because she was in the Bush administration that promoted the war. Now, tell me that doesn't sound extremely liberal lefty.
That's complete bias is what that is. And for a college, they have to be open to both sides. I don't care who you are. And honestly, Condoleezza Rice, very respectable. She's got the credentials. Mm-hmm. She worked her way up. She's a phenomenal woman.
And so, to one of the professors, this will really get you. Then they interviewed another professor at Rutgers, and he looked at the camera, and the cameraman and the reporter said, "Why are you against Condoleezza Rice?" And he looked at the camera and said, "Because she is definitely not a role model."
What?
Yeah, I couldn't believe this. I couldn't believe this. This woman has done so much in her career, and she is so well educated, so smart. She has done so much in politics. She's done so much away from politics. And to have these people from a very, very liberal left university, Rutgers University, say that she's not qualified because she had been formerly in the Bush administration and she's not a role model, I find that totally offensive.
Wow, and totally biased. I mean, she is a role model for a lot of ladies, including myself.
But so, keep in mind,
to stand up for this.
Keep in mind, when Bill Clinton was approached to speak there, there was a man that was impeached for his indiscretions. Yeah. And also keep in mind that Hillary Clinton, when she was a senator, was in favor of the war in Iraq and voted in favor of it, but she's okay to speak. But why Condoleezza Rice not a role model?
It doesn't make any sense to me. The one red flag flowing up for me is bias.
You got it. You got it.
Look at the lady's credentials.
Yeah.
She's got them. Let her speak. If the students want to hear her, honor the students because they're the ones that are paying the tuition to go to that school.
I just can't imagine that we're at this low of a society. You know, that if you're conservative and you have a certain moral value and you stand up for the church, you stand up for Bible, you stand up for Christianity, you are shuttled off as being not worthy to speak, or they're afraid of you, and they do everything they can to denigrate you and demonize you and say that you're not a role model. And she's not the only one.
I just don't. I'm flabbergasted, and I'm really hoping that, like I said, that the students stand up for this, and because the students are the ones paying the tuition, and if they want to hear the lady speak, and these professors that are on the liberal left, they just need to shut the heck up.
I got another little story for you that I put together in a hurry this morning, but it's about Arkansas Democrat Mark Pryor. And he's being challenged by Republican Tom Cotton for the Democratic Senate seat. Uh-huh. This will get you. Mark Pryor, the Democrat, gets on television and gets really down, dirty, and nasty, and that he said that he's a representative now, and he's going to try to get the Senate seat of Mark Pryor. Tom Cotton in no way should qualify for the Senate seat because he's using his service to America in Iraq and Afghanistan in his ads that he served this country.
He served this country?
Yeah.
Tom Kerry?
No, Tom Cotton.
Oh, Tom Cotton.
See, Mark Pryor's jealous, and in the ads, Tom Cotton says, I served this country in Iraq and Afghanistan, and I will do my best to serve you in the Senate. And Arkansas Democrat Mark Pryor is all upset. He hasn't served this country. He wasn't in the military, and he's jealous, and he said that this person should not be using that in his ads as a source of entitlement to try to win the position.
You know what? It's part of his job credentials. He has served the American public in a way that, well, some haven't. Yep. And so he should be boasting that, and he should be saying, you know what? I served this country. I protected our flag. I've protected our freedoms, and I've gone overseas and I've fought for my country, and I am going to do the same for you when I get to that position. Didn't
John McCain do the same thing?
Amen.
There you go. But the Democrats are grasping at straws. I mean, when you have the Speaker of the Senate Majority Leader, Harry Reid, condemning and calling people liars, and then having the audacity, and I know he's going to get sued over this one, of calling the Koch brothers un-American, there is no limit to how dastardly the liberal left will be.
They will pull out all stops.
Yeah.
They pull out all stops, and they are the first ones to throw mud, and unfortunately, they are the first ones to pull the race card.
I agree. Totally agree. Coming up next hour, it's going to be a busy hour. We've got the Chamber of Commerce report. We've got Thomas from Denny's coming on our program. We've got Dog Nation with Ken Moore. We've got Rita Ramsey. Oh, my goodness, we've got a lot of things coming up. So stay tuned. Zeb at the Ranch on a Thursday morning. Going to be a little wet today, they said, Michael Rogers weather. And off and on, we might even see a thunder bumper. But right now, we're going to turn it over to the big boys from ABC. We'll be back in 6. Don't go away. Oh, my. Welcome back. Zeb at the Ranch on a Thursday morning, brought to you by our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations serving you, along with some of our great advertisers, including Lee's Furniture, Floors, and more at 459 Overland in Burley, and our friends at Ramsey Heating and Electric at 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley. You know, before we take our call from the Chamber of Commerce office, I want to remind you about Joel Heward, owner-manager of Hanson Mortuary at 710 6th Street in Rupert, always providing the families they serve with the best possible support and comfort. With the highest of ethical standards, unquestioned integrity. They really take care of you. Please, call them today. We all should get information on pre-planning funerals. They have that information. They'll be more than happy to share it with you to help eliminate a lot of the stress and worry for our families. Hanson Mortuary, 710 6th Street in Rupert, 436-5636. By the way, while we're over in Rupert, let's not forget, too, our dear friends at Cameron and Siemens Insurance. Dean Cameron, Todd Siemens, life insurance, health insurance, retirement planning, employee benefits. Let them take a look at your portfolio of insurance to make sure that you, your family, your home, your business is covered. You better believe it. They can help. Stop in and give them a call at 436-4424 or stop in at Highway 24 in Rupert. Cameron Siemens Insurance. Yes, employee benefits for your business. Like I said, don't put it off. Life insurance for you and the family. Cameron and Siemens Insurance, serving you. Right now, let's get on the telephone and head on over to a beautiful location right on the river, and she's sitting in her office looking outside at all the ducks and ducklings. Good morning, Kay Cameron.
Good morning, Zeb. No ducks this morning, just a gray sky and a little breeze, but I'll tell you what, it's beautiful outside, even if it is kind of gray and gloomy. It's warm. It's nice.
You've got a very nice location over there at the Mini-Cassia Chamber of Commerce. I mean, really right on the river, and you can look out the back window and look from your office right up to Mount Harrison. I mean, man, you got it made over there.
I do. I can actually stand up right here, look out and see the mountains. It looks like it's probably snowing up to Pomerelle, and and the river is just seriously just right here. I could probably almost throw a rock to the river from my office if the window was open.
Absolutely.
And it's beautiful.
Okay, so what's cooking with the Chamber of Commerce?
Well, there is something I want to remind all of the voters out there about. School bond election is coming up, and I know you'll probably have somebody on from the school district later talking probably about this, but the school bond election in both counties coming up next week. Tomorrow is the last day to absentee vote, and the Chamber of Commerce has taken a position that we really do support this. We encourage all the voters to get out there and support this because we've got to support these kids. We've got to support our schools. We can't have new growth and new development in our communities if we don't support our schools. So get out, be sure and vote.
I agree. And the school bond coming up. And what else is happening?
Lots going on. A couple of community events I want to tell you about. 39 Steps out to the Oakley Valley Playhouse.
Mm-hmm.
It's a play. It kicks off tonight, opening night tonight. So get up there and check it out. They always do a fabulous job up there. And always great. Hello Dolly is taking place over to Minico High School. So it's a student production. Support those students. They, have been working hard. It's great. Another thing, if you like Girl Scout cookies, now is the time to buy them. Girl Scout cookies are on sale, so be looking for various locations throughout the Mini-Cassia area and support our local Girl Scouts. And if you can't track them down, give us a call and we can get you in touch with the Girl Scouts.
Absolutely.
And find out how to get your Girl Scout cookie.
What's your favorite kind of Girl Scout cookie?
Oh, I like the Samoas.
I do too, but I also just like the plain, ordinary shortbread cookies. I just really enjoy those.
I really like the Thin Mints too. I kind of had to stop buying them because if I buy them, I will eat the whole box because they're so delicious.
Yeah, but there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, if you want to all of a sudden, if you have a craving for something, I think you need to go fill that craving and really overdo it so you won't do it again for a long time.
So you won't do it again. That's a good theory. So, yeah. Yeah, or maybe just buy them one box at a time instead of 6 boxes at a time.
Yeah, and then at noon hour, get in your car or your pick-em-up truck and go someplace secluded and open the box and just smile like a Cheshire cat because they're all yours.
Yes, and just eat them up. So Girl Scout cookies, support them. Another thing, if you are looking for something fun on Saturday, this looks like a great time. Up to Pomerelle Mountain, they are having a boxcar derby. So for all of you that want to get out there, get your competitive edge on, get your box cars ready, because all you need is cardboard, tape, glue, and string, and some imagination. Build your box cars. You can only have 4 riders per car. That's the maximum. It sounds like a good time.
Absolutely. Well, it looks like you've got a lot of things going on, and I'm sure that you've already kind of projected your mind ahead to warmer weather and golf tournaments, and also next month in April, the women's event.
Our women's seminar is scheduled for April 24th. We are open for registration for our vendor spaces. We've got some vendor spaces left, but if there's anybody out there that wants to participate and be a vendor, we encourage them to come. We're working on finalizing the details as far as our speakers, but we've got great speakers lined up. We've got Jalen Twist coming. We've got Mrs. World coming as a motivational speaker. I believe we've confirmed Dawn Aslett to come, as well as other things in between. So it's going to be fabulous.
Jalen Twist is one of my very favorite people, and to have her at your meeting and your convention, if you will, she is very special.
She is. She's phenomenal. We had her come and present a few years ago, and she is wonderful. Absolutely.
If anybody's interested in finding out more information about the Chamber of Commerce, how do they do it?
They come by and see us. Come see us at our beautiful location here on the beautiful Snake River at 1177 7th Street in Hebron. There's too many sevens there. Give us a call at 208-679-4600. 4793. Find us on the internet at minicasuchamber.com, or like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
There you go, the lovely Kay Cameron at the Mini-Cassia Chamber of Commerce. Kay, God bless. Have a wonderful day. Thank you so much.
You too. Thank you.
All righty. Oh, my goodness sakes, nice people over there. Don't forget our friends over at Pro Paint. 1116 Overland Avenue in Burley. Anything and everything you want to learn about paint and fixing up your home, your farm, whatever. Hey, listen, the Rancliffe family is celebrating 25 years in the paint business, and they've got some special deals for you on Pittsburgh paint that's on sale, industrial paint for farm equipment, custom and stock colors. All you have to do to go to Pro Paint, 1116 Overland Avenue in Burley. Talk to Barbara or Brian, and they can help you. Anniversary sale, 25 years, Pro Paint, 1116 Overland Avenue in Burley. You stop in and see them today. Right now, we are going to go via the telephone, and we're going to talk to a very enterprising young man, the manager of Denny's Restaurant at 611.
I did not get that information.
You didn't?
No.
That means, in the turmoil this morning, I messed up.
Well, what's the phone number?
678-8786.
678-8786.
You know what? I am so glad that you corrected me, because I skimmed right over that.
Well, this is live radio.
Yeah, I love this part of it. Let's see what happens.
Thanks for calling Denny's. This is Ray. Is this what you go order?
Real fast, I need you to get Thomas. He's on the radio live for an interview. Go grab him really quick, would you?
Yes. I'm
Okay.
just going to put you on hold real quick, okay?
All right, real quick. I love being on hold. And while we're on hold, we will also tell everybody the Raft River High School Rodeo team is going to have their annual dinner and auction tonight, starting at 6:30 p.m. at Raft River High School. Cost of the dinner is donation, and all the funds will help the kids pay rodeo entry fees and the kids who qualify to compete at the state rodeo. Okay, don't forget that. So here we are. On live radio, and poor Gina was not informed because evidently the owner and producer of this show got really stupid this morning, me, and forgot to tell you. I apologize for that.
Oh, no, that's okay. This is all what live radio is about, so we are still on hold. So if you want to do, like, maybe another commercial or another PSA.
You think I ought to? Well, I'll tell everybody that also this weekend, tomorrow night, as a matter of fact, Friday night at 7 p.m., the Oakland High School presents the Mr. OHS contest. And it's going to be a cost of $5 for adults, $3 for kids 12 and under, $20 for a family, and they will have refreshments. That's going to be at Oakley High School on tomorrow night. So, are we still waiting patiently? I believe so. And then in just a few minutes, too, don't forget we're going to have Dog Nation with Ken Mort, and then 9:30 Rita Ramsey. I'm getting nervous because I don't hear Thomas on the phone, and Gina left me, and I'm all alone. I'm all alone in a sea of Radioland. How does it look, Gina?
Well, he's helping a customer right now, and she's giving him the sign to he better hurry his little tushy up.
I like that. Hurry your little tushy up. What are you going to do this weekend, by the way?
What am I going to do this weekend? Sleep. And maybe work on some cars.
You and your cars. Now, what are you working on now?
We are going to continue to work on that 97 Bonneville SSE. We're getting it ready for final paint, and once the final paint is done, then I can bring it down here and have the VIN inspection done and do the whole title transfer.
And what color are you painting it?
Black.
Oh, black.
And you know what? Will be the first black car that I have ever owned, and I'm learning that black is a very difficult color. There's a reason why I like white cars, because it hides the dirt. Black does not.
I agree. I've got a white pickup. And believe me, it hasn't hidden the dirt that well.
Well, you kind of drive in lots of muddy areas.
I know that.
So, but, me, I don't. But we're going to see how well this black car goes, actually. And so I'm pretty excited. So I think that's what we're going to be doing this weekend, is finishing that one up.
Okay, so evidently Thomas must be tied up.
Nope, I've got Thomas. Hold on. Okay. I've got Thomas.
There he is. Thomas at Denny's Restaurant in Burley at 611 North Overland in Burley. Zeb Bell on the line with you. How you doing, Thomas?
I'm doing well. How are you today, Zev?
Not too bad. We almost didn't get hooked up to get you on the air this morning. I apologize for that, but I want to
Hey, I'm glad we made it.
Oh, me too. I got to compliment you. And this is not just an advertiser on my program. I mean this. When we moved over there to have our lunch bunch, you have been so cordial. The food has been absolutely fantastic. The service out of this world. And I'm saying this from the heart. You folks at Denny's Restaurant, you have really opened the door with the welcome mat, and we say thank you very much.
Well, I appreciate that, Zeb. I really do. We just try to do our best with everybody, and that's our goal. So,
what is the goal of Denny's Restaurant? I mean, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I mean, every meal is good. You've got a brand new menu, and people can celebrate their birthdays. Tell us a little bit about it. If somebody's having a birthday, you've got something special for them, don't you?
yeah, I mean, and it's a Denny's thing nationwide, and we want to honor it and are glad to. In fact, I just got done hearing my servers sing "Happy Birthday" to a guest out in the diner just a few minutes ago. I mean, it seems like every day we have somebody coming in, and that's how it is. If they come in on their birthday and order our Value Slam, it's free for it's a breakfast meal. And it's free for anybody on a birthday that comes in and has a meal.
All right. And what about senior citizens like me, us old, long in the tooth, and graybeards? What about us?
Well, what we've done, we used to have a seniors AARP discount that ran for free or $1 coffee during the daytime hours, and 4 to 10 p.m. you got 20% off. But what AARP's teamed up with Denny's, and they just kind of gone to a flat rate, 15%, 24/7. And so that way, if you're an AARP member, you can come and get 15% off at any time of the day on anything that you order. And we also have our frequent customer card that if a 55-plus card that they come and every time they order an entree, they get it marked and then get their 6th one free.
Absolutely. Now, Thomas, one other thing I wanted to mention, too, is Denny's really is family-friendly because you got a special deal for the kids, too, don't you?
That's correct. Kids eat free every Tuesday night from 4 to 10 p.m. You get 2 kids per adult that orders an entree that eat free off the kids menu, and we just really appreciate the kids in the community. They've done a great job. In fact, I often hear the parents say, "Hey, we're here because the kids wanted to come to Denny's, and so we're glad we can make them happy as well."
Well, I'll tell you, folks, breakfast, lunch, or dinner, and Thomas has just absolutely been phenomenal. I know all my lunch bunchers have said, "Wow, it's been so great, and the service so good." By the time I get there at 11:30, almost the whole room's done eating, and I got to eat in front of everybody. That's how efficient they are. I absolutely commend you. And how's business been since you opened the doors?
Oh, we just want to thank the community. We've received awesome support, and and I really enjoy being out there and getting to know the community. The Lunch Bunch crew, but not just that. I mean, I'm always out there trying to get to know everybody, and I see people so frequently. I just love being a part of the community, and so things have been going awesome. We appreciate the support from the community and hope that we can continue for years to come to continue to give the service that we plan to give.
One final thought here: if somebody's having like a little gathering or a little birthday party or something else, you do take reservations, don't you?
We do. We have a south dining room. It's not completely closed off, but we mainly during the day and the slower times seat our guests in the north dining room, and that south dining room is always available, to if somebody calls ahead, we can usually pretty much reserve it. Obviously, if it's at a peak period during a lunch on Saturday, it may be a little difficult to get fully to yourself, but we always are trying to accommodate that, and people can bring decorations, they can do whatever, and have cakes. We've had all kinds of different parties and get-togethers, so we love supporting that.
All right. I want to just say again, ladies and gentlemen, this young man and the staff at Denny's Restaurant have been absolutely phenomenal for my lunch bunch once a month, and you can stop in anytime, all the time, to Denny's Restaurant, 611 North Overland in Burley. Thomas, God bless you, man. Thanks for taking the time to come on the program.
Thanks again, Zeb. Have a great one. Appreciate it.
Take care. Thank you. Very, very nice young man right there. I really do appreciate him. Hey, where'd all these dogs come from anyway, for heaven's sakes? Man, we got dogs running all over. Where's Ken Mort when you need him, for heaven's sakes? I got a Doberman camped on my foot right now. Good morning. Ken, are you there? How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great, Zeb. How about yourself?
Well, not bad. It's been an interesting morning, of which we won't go back into, but it's nice to have...
I was sitting here and when you had your Alzheimer's moment.
Ken, you don't have to relive the negatives. Always relive the positives. But I do that on occasion. I do have my old-timers moment, if you will. How's the dog business?
Doing great. We wanted to feature Dixie today. She is a black lab cross. She's got a smooth coat. She's about a year old.
Mm-hmm.
A little white on her feet. The owners had docked her tail. She's good with other dogs, cats, kids. She weighs about 46.5 pounds. And that, she's current on all of her vaccinations with the exception of her rabies. She does need a rabies, Annette. But, I mean, she's... was running loose, Annette, near the post office in Hayburn. The animal control officer over there picked her up, contacted the owners, and the owners are like, well, we're just having some issues and stuff, and can't keep her right now. So they went ahead and surrendered her to us to find her, or to have us find her a good home.
Now, I'll tell you what, without even seeing the dog, I'll bet you she is just a real lovable dog.
She is. She's a real sweetheart. She is very active, Annette, but what do you expect for only being a year old?
Sure.
And labs are active anyway. I mean, I've got a 2-year-old lab over there right now that has been, I mean, is very, very active and hyper and just wants lots of love and attention. And this is the same way she is.
Of all the breeds of dogs that you know of, and there's dogs I didn't even know were in existence, but do they all kind of, in somewhat, have the same kind of personality with the breed? Is that really safe to say?
It is. I mean, like your labs and stuff like that. They've got the natural instinct and stuff and that for water. And things like that. And then you got your some of your bully breeds and that are in their temperament, they're very protective of the home and the family and things like that. So I mean, it's all in. I mean, they've got specific temperaments and stuff in it, and that for their specific breeds.
I see. Now, a lady called me the other day, and I said I didn't know, and I was going to ask you the question, and I'm going to spring it to you right over the air. She said, "What about kitty cats? Do you handle cats too?" She wasn't aware of whether you did or not.
Unfortunately, right now, because of us not having a big enough facility or the ability to house cats, we don't do anything with cats right now. None of the cities or the county has any kind of ordinances on cats. So unfortunately, we don't do anything with cats right now, but we're hoping in the future, Annette, once we're able to get into a much larger facility and Annette, be able to start doing something with cats eventually.
You know, there's a television commercial, and I know you've probably seen it, and tell me the kind of dog it is, because I don't know. It's a beautiful dog. There's a commercial on television where a lady rescues a dog. She calls him Riley. He's a great big kind of a white, fluffy dog. That is just absolutely... It's a what?
Great Pyrenees.
Oh, man, if you ever find one of those, call me on the phone, okay? I love those dogs. Pardon me?
My parents have one.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they're gentle giants, and they're originally bred to be sheep herders.
No kidding. Mm-hmm. Well, I don't have any sheep, so they'd be bored to death here, but I'd give it a good home.
Well, they herd you.
I need it. But that is one of the prettiest dogs. Now, do they come in different colors, or is that kind of a standard color, that gray?
Actually, the standard color for your Great Pyrenees are normally white.
Yeah.
White to a cream white.
I see. Mm-hmm. I see.
And sometimes they have a pink nose. Sometimes they'll have a black nose.
Really?
And then sometimes their hair gets really, really curly.
Yeah.
And they probably eat 25 pounds of dog food a day?
Their average size, they can get anywhere up to 110 to 130 pounds.
Oh.
They're a big dog. They are a big dog, and they shed an incredible amount of hair.
I don't care.
But you know what? Gentle giants. My parents they're on their second dog now of the Great Pyrenees breed, and they absolutely love the breed.
You know that TV commercial, you can just see the look on that dog's face that he just loves people. I just love that dog.
Oh, they are so sweet.
Anyway, Ken, what else is happening over there? You all moved into your new location?
We're not. We're actually still working on the facility over there, trying to get things painted, trying to get additional doors put in. We've gotten the windows ordered yesterday for our brick building, and that to help with some additional soundproofing. We are in dire need. If anybody out there has some cinder blocks that they're not using that they'd be willing to donate, we're in need of like 60 to 90 cinder blocks so that we can build a wall in a specific area of one of our buildings, and that to kind of separate a room that they've got over there that has a pump in it, and that for the sanitation facility. We're always in need of towels and blankets and collars, leashes, all sorts of stuff like that. I also want to send a shout out to Smith's over here in Burley. Where they extended their drive for us. Last Friday, I went in and picked up, I think it was last Friday, but I went and picked up just over 2,000 pounds of dog food.
Oh, my.
Donated.
Oh, my.
For us.
That's worth a hallelujah, I think, instead of just a round of applause. Hallelujah. There you go.
But yeah, they all did a great job over there and at helping us out. So I mean, we really appreciate everything they've done.
Ken, you just have the personality for this job. I know you love animals. I know you especially love dogs. God bless you for everything you're doing over there. Minidoka Animal Control, Ken Mort. Anything else, real quick? I got to run.
No, just if they're interested in the dog and stuff and that, give us a call at 438-2200 or call me on my cell phone at 670-7268.
Now we know where all these dogs are coming from.
Who let the dogs out? Who let the dogs out?
Ken Mort, Minidoka Animal Control. Who let the dogs out? Well, I'll tell you what, old Ken, he loves dogs, and you give him a call, okay? Really nice guy. Hey, don't forget Let's Ride, Highway 24 between Rupert and Burley, open Tuesdays through Saturdays 9 to 6, and they've got the biggest, this isn't brag, this is a fact, biggest selection of side-by-sides right there at Let's Ride. And they've got all the ATVs. Oh, my goodness, a lot of them are on sale. And with spring right around the corner, great rebates, great interest rates. You better stop in. They've got dirt bikes for the young at heart and the best doggone parts and service department in the Magic Valley. You check it out. Let's Ride, where the fun is sold. Highway 24 between Rupert and Burley. Well, on Thursdays, we always visit with a very, very lovely lady that I like her because she's outspoken and says it like it is. Good morning, Rita Ramsey. How are you?
Good morning. I'm real good. How are you doing?
Well, not too bad. There's about 30 different subjects I've got written here on a piece of paper to talk to you about this morning. And so I'm going to have to condense it down. But the one thing I wanted to ask you about, and I know you're and this is in polite form to you because I'm the same way. I know you're a news junkie that just absolutely thrives on following the news. What did you think about Rutgers University trying to disengage themselves from a contract of having Condoleezza Rice speak at their graduation and calling her unfit and not a role model?
Well, I think that that's mostly just bias, of course, because I believe that isn't she like a professor at a university? I mean, she probably has the same qualifications education-wise as who ever told her that she couldn't.
Or more.
Yeah, and then she's got the experience of being the Secretary of State and the Director or the National Security Advisor. So, I mean, it was basically just because you were in George Bush's cabinet, we don't want you, period. And she's got lots of qualifications, and she should be. I mean, she was raised in the 50s, and her mom and dad made sure that she got a good education, and all that stuff that was going on when she was little. I mean, they still thought that it was extra important that she get an education and not feel like that she was a victim and that type of thing. And I just think that there wouldn't be anybody else that would be better for a hero for somebody to look up to than her.
I find that lady to be very appealing. There's certain political stances that she's taken that I don't agree with, but I find her to be very appealing as far as what she's done, who she is, and what she still would like to try to be. And for some goofy bunch of professors, liberal left professors, to sign a petition and say that she is not worthy, or that she's not a role model, I find that highly offensive.
Oh, I do too. I actually pulled up her biography, and she said that she got her master's from the University of Notre Dame in '75 and her PhD from the University of Denver's Graduate School in '81. I mean, she joined the Stanford University as a political science professor. I don't know what other kinds of qualifications it would take other than to be the party of whoever it was said she couldn't come.
You know, and the other thing, too, and it was said facetiously, but there was a lot of thought about it, is that she's such a football addict that there was a lot of talk that possibly she could become the commissioner of the NFL.
Well, I remember somebody interviewing her. I think it was Sean Hannity once a number of years ago, interviewed her, and he said, what would your dream job be? And she said it would be to be the commissioner of the NFL.
Yeah, that's true.
And she actually has, her and one other lady were the first women to become members of the Augusta National Golf Club, which was a men-only thing at one time. And so she is just so diverse with various different things. And you know, even though she was in George Bush's cabinet and she's a Republican, she's very moderate. So it's not like she's hard right or one of us weird Tea Party, fiscal mania people.
You know, in other words, what you're saying is what I said first hour. It's this liberal left hatred for conservatism or people of value that have served their country and that have gone on to be successful. And the professors are all against her, but they took a polling of the students, and they're all in favor of having her there to speak.
Well, it just goes to show that these people who are supporting some of these institutions need to pull back their dollars and start saying, you know what, we want our kids to be educated. We don't want them to be told what to think because of your biases.
Rita, simply put, Mitt Romney was right. Oh, was he right? And Barack Obama was wrong. Oh, was he wrong during the presidential debates? Romney warned everybody about Putin. He warned everybody about Russia. Obama scoffed it off, made fun of him, made jeering remarks against Romney. And now look at the mess that's over in the Ukraine.
Well, I'll tell you, it is really a mess. And just to go one step further, Sarah Palin even told us that this was what was going to happen when she was running alongside John McCain.
That's right. That's right.
So these people with a little bit of common sense know that these kinds of things are going to happen. And by the way, I found an article. I had heard somebody say it, so I pulled up this article. In 2005, U.S. Senator Dick Lugar from Indiana, and he was a Republican, and Barack Obama, Democrat, Illinois, called for immediate destruction of 15,000 tons of ammunition, 400,000 small arms and light weapons, and 1,000-man portable air defense systems, or shoulder missile launchers that are often sought by terrorists, to be taken away from the Ukrainians.
Mm-hmm.
And so, guess what? They're probably one of these. A little bit later on in this, it says, "I'll bet the Ukrainians are wishing they had some of those conventional weapons right now."
Absolutely, absolutely.
And I just think that when you disarm a society, this kind of thing can happen. And of course, Putin knew that they were unarmed and that they didn't have, basically the way of putting them off, and so he'll just go in and roll over. Besides the fact that President Obama took down that, what was it called, the SDA, oh heavens, I said it 3 or 4 times this morning, so I would say it, the missile, the disarmament things from Europe. And so now there's no protection at all. And we promised all of those countries we'd go in there and help them. And what can we do? Nothing.
Rita, one thing you mentioned, and I just got to finish the other day talking and visiting with a couple of guys that said, quote, gun control, it'll never happen in this country. We listen to your program, and when you're talking about gun control, you say, well, it could happen here. Never happen here. They'll never pry that gun out of my cold, dead fingers. That's really a non-educated approach to the problem. Because right now, we're seeing what's happened to the Ukrainians. We're seeing what's happening with the Eastern European bloc countries, and we're seeing about the treaty that was ratified, the United Nations Armed Trade Treaty, to control conventional arms. Rita, it can happen here, and we have an administration right now that would welcome that kind of gun control.
Oh, that was one of their goals. This administration had right at the top of their list to disarm us and let the UN do their thing. And I mean, President Obama and John Kerry a couple of months ago signed treaty agreements with the UN on gun control. It hasn't been ratified through the Senate and probably won't get done. But if we should happen to have an emergency of some kind and they have to declare martial law, guess what? UN gets our guns.
That's right. Now, I don't know if you heard this or not yet this morning. It just came out on the news about 3:30 this morning. But Vladimir Putin has been nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize for this year. Give us your thoughts on this.
All I can say is I don't know what they've been smoking, but they didn't make a good choice with Obama, and they didn't make a good choice here. He should be caught. Well, why somebody would think he's peaceful or should deserve any kind of recognition in the name of peace is beyond me.
Yeah, Rita, when you look at this situation in the Ukraine, and you look now at North Korea with the saber rattling going on there, you look at Syria, and Syria's watching what we are doing or not doing over in the Ukraine very closely. You look at the other Middle Eastern countries, Syria, Iraq, Iran, Afghanistan, etc. The list goes on and on and on. There's nobody, according to the polling right now that's come out, nobody of other countries that really fears us or respects us or thinks Obama has any teeth whatsoever.
Well, that's absolutely right, and I honestly think that was probably the goal of this administration also, to make him look like he was lukewarm and take us out of the running of being the most powerful country in the world, because I think that was one of his goals, and the way that he was raised. His mother was a communist, his grandparents were communists, he was tutored by communists, and they don't like America, and I don't think that he does either. And I think it was his one of his goals to take America down a few steps and put somebody else up there, and if that happens to be Russia, okay, that's fine. But I don't think that he really cares about America. He didn't live here long enough. He wasn't raised in America to understand what freedom and pride and liberty and those kinds of things are. I just think he's raised in a different country, and he hates America, and he got over here and took of all of the good stuff that they would give him, like a free education and all that. He registered and came as a student from another country, and so we paid for it, and this is what we get.
Speaking of we get what we get, we've really got a dandy in Harry Reid, the Senate Majority Leader. I mean, how do you come out and call Americans, your fellow Americans, the people that you hope will vote for you and your party, how do you come out and call them all liars when they have horror stories about Obamacare? He calls them liars, say that they're being untrue, and a lot of people have had it now, and they're thinking about a lawsuit against this man.
Well, I think that there ought to be a lawsuit. There's a lot of libel there, and that's really bad. But if I was anybody that had any time or money and I was affiliated with the Republicans, I would be putting those sound bites into ads and playing them, just reminding people of how Harry Reid said that we're all liars, we've made this up, the health care thing is just fine, and just keep playing it because it's only going to get worse and it can only damage them. And maybe he'll lose his credibility and get booted out of the Senate.
You know, when you talk about what's going on right now with the Republicans and the Democrats, I'm going to make a prediction right now. You can tell me I'm wrong, but unless the Republican Party solidifies and agrees to go along and get along, whether it's with Marco Rubio, whether it's with John McCain, whether it's with Cruz or whomever, until they can get some cement to patch up the cracks, they're not going to gain any seats, they're going to lose more power, and they're going to be the laughingstock. And I honestly don't see any changes. These people are acting like complete idiots and not patching things up for the good of the country. What are your thoughts?
Oh, I think you're right about that. I also think that in 2014 that there will be a lot of people go out and we'll make some changes, and hopefully we will get the Senate or the House a little bit more conservative, because we're going to boot out some of the ones that aren't conservative. But we can take the Senate if they'll do that, and I think they kind of know that they've got to, come back in and say, hey, we want to include the Tea Party people, even though we feel like you're a little too radical in the fiscal place, but, I mean, it is what it is, and if they want to be able to take over the House and Senate, I quite honestly don't think that they care whether they take over the House and Senate. I think they're just so actually used to putting money into their pocket. They don't really care, and so it's like, well, we don't want to be in charge. Doesn't, just puts the responsibility on us. So
yeah, but Rita,
I don't know if they even care.
Let me ask you this, though, and you've been a Tea Party member for quite a few years now. What is so radical? You got to explain this to me, because I don't understand some of these nitwits on the national news. What is so radical about wanting to keep expenses down and honor the Constitution and go according to the value system that we've had in this country? And yet there are Republicans that find that very, very out in right field. What's going on here? Why can't we get back to the basics and accept that philosophy of the Tea Party?
Well, first of all, when you're only interested in money and how much you can put in your pocket and how much you can bring back to your state so they'll keep reelecting you, you don't want to have the brakes put on by a bunch of people that are saying, hey, we don't have the money, we need to be fiscally responsible here. Did you forget what your oath was about when you took your oath of office, that you would administrate the fiscal responsibilities of the office that you're in, and you would do it in a manner that's decent? They forget about that. They're only interested in one thing, and that is keeping the money rolling in. And when somebody puts the brakes on it and saying, hey, we can't keep doing this, we've got to slow it down, we've got to stop it, we've got to be more responsible, then it's kind of like, you can't make me do that. Just like a kid, you can't take my allowance away from me. I don't care whether I'm not doing my stuff or not. You promised it to me, and you can't take it away. I think that's really their feeling, is that they just think that they're entitled to it, and it doesn't matter. I noticed that there was an article this week posted by the American Conservative Union that Labrador earned a 100% score and Simpson got a 46%. So that means 46% of the time Simpson was actually canceling out Labrador's vote.
Mm-hmm. Rita, I'm going to ask you to stay on the line for a minute. I've got to do a weather forecast with Michael Rogers. Stand by. Reds Trading Post, 203 5th Avenue South in Twin Falls, bringing you the weather this hour. And remember, purchase a firearm from Reds Trading Post and receive training bucks for both LMS Defense and Shaw Shooting to use in their rifle and pistol training courses. That is excellent. Don't forget, for the best of guns, best of ammo, and all the accessories, it's Reds Trading Post, 203 5th Avenue South in Twin Falls. Here now, Michael Rogers weather. Here now, Michael.
Hey everyone, Michael Rogers from MichaelRogersWeather.com. A few showers this morning, and then it's going to pretty much stay yucky all the way through the day. You could even possibly see something we haven't seen all winter long. That's called a thunderstorm. How about that? Winds are going to be out of the west at 10 to 20 miles an hour. That's what happens when you got a cold front. Daytime highs, well, you're going to be right around the mid to upper 50s for today. Overnight lows will be in the mid to upper 30s. Have a great day. Enjoy the weather. It is the only weather you got.
Thank you very much. Oh, that's all right, Gina. Don't worry, man. That's okay, man. No, I mean, lady, please don't worry about that. Red's Trading Post, 203 5th Avenue South at Twin Falls, for the best of guns, ammo, and all the accessories. Really good folks with Ryan and the crew. Ryan will be on the air with us next Monday morning. Rita, another subject that's come up, and I'm sick of bending backwards and stepping backwards and making allowance for special interest groups to take over with their demands. I don't know if you heard about this story, but the atheists in New York are demanding that the ironworks that are left from the Twin Towers that were bent and broken and everything, but one piece remained looking like a cross from 9/11, they're demanding that it be taken out of the area and destroyed because it promotes Christianity. What are your thoughts about the atheists and their demands, and what's going on with some really radical ideas in this country?
Well, we've come to a point where we have to stand up and start saying, you know what, we need to get along. You know, you leave us alone and we'll leave you alone. We're not calling you out on the carpet because you don't believe the way we do, or because you don't want to have a cross someplace, you know, that you can look up to or whatever. But it's just beyond ridiculous. These people think that they can do all of this and they won't be stopped, and they just get emboldened because a lot of times they're not stopped. And they need to just be told to sit back. You know, if you want to put your anything that you have that pertains to this memorial and monument, you know, the monument thing for the 9/11 at that museum, bring it in. We'll put it in here if it's something that pertains to it. Otherwise, leave it alone. This is where they found it. This is the way it was, and this is the way we're going to leave it. And it's the same with the Muslims, you know, the ones that they don't want us to do this and that and the other. Well, you know what? They can believe the way that they want to, but just leave us alone and let us do what we want to do. We're not hurting anybody. We're not destructive, contrary to the way that some of those people have been.
Absolutely.
So when we just bend over, they just do more and take more.
I agree. And one final thought here this morning, we have to talk about this because it just was a mockery as far as I'm concerned. Lois Lerner from the IRS took the Fifth Amendment the first time. She did it again the other day. To me, it just says that there's a lot of guilt and there's a lot of wrongdoing with the IRS. And now what do? It just seems like this whole thing is falling apart because the Department of Justice, Eric Holder, and the IRS and Obama, they're not going to cave, they're not going to give out any information, and they're just basically sticking their chin out and saying, that's tough.
Well, and they're doing it because they think they can get away with it. They think that Congress won't ask them anything. I don't know whether you saw, you probably did, the interview that I can't even remember who had it with Trey Gowdy, and I'll tell you something, that guy, he is a mad congressman, and they better watch out, because I heard him say, I prosecuted for 16 years, we're going to get the information out of her, and we're going to prosecute whoever needs to be prosecuted. And I think that's what they need to do, and I think some of these congressmen who keep thinking, well, we'll just kind of keep having a session and asking if she'll answer the questions, and then, of course, she won't. They need to just go in and demand that she, issue their subpoenas or whatever it is that they have to do, and insist that she do it, or she's going to go to jail, and let her go to jail. There will be some people that will come too, but they cannot give her amnesty. They can't give her amnesty and say, okay, you tell us the facts and we'll protect you.
Well, one of the things that I want to find out, and of course now I'm still going back to Fast and Furious with the gun running, and then I go to Benghazi. Still nobody's been held accountable. Nobody really cares about bringing somebody accountable about 4 human American lives being lost. But when this woman gets up there and pleads the Fifth, and Obama in a couple of weeks previous to this had said during the Super Bowl interview with Bill O'Reilly, not a smidgen of distrust, not a smidgen of anything unlawful with the IRS. What are they hiding?
they're hiding a lot, and they're hiding the fact that this word came right down from the re-election committee from President Obama, and told them to do what they needed to do to stop these groups. And then some of these other people kind of decided, oh, okay, if we stop these groups, boy, we can nail them because we're the IRS and we have the power. And they just took their power and started abusing it. And it was all about getting reelected. That's all it was.
What about the so-called scandals that we've seen come out of this administration? Benghazi, the IRS scandal, the scandal about free speech. They haven't even talked about the Fast and Furious for a long time. And plus, there's another gun-running issue that's coming up. This administration seems, to me, to be the very best at sweeping things under the carpet and then putting cement bricks on each corner of the carpet and saying, we're not going to talk about a thing.
And a complicit media who won't hold them accountable for it, but yet they would hold anybody else accountable if they had an R behind their name.
Absolutely. Rita, quickly tell us what's going on with the Tea Party.
Well, right now we are working to try to get people educated on those people who are going to be running for state offices and the Congress, and we are going to be sponsoring a forum next week, a week from today, at the King Fine Arts Center, the Little Theater, at 7 o'clock 1 week from today, and we're going to have 6 candidates there. They're going to be able to give their bio and what their platform is, and then there'll be question and answers. And we want to fill that place up. Everybody needs to know. And these particular ones that we are having come, they are the ones who are against Common Core. They're for getting our federal lands back, and they are against this fiscal business that's kind of out of control. At the Lincoln Day dinner the other day when I was there, the main thing with the incumbents was almost every one of them said, we balanced the Idaho budget. And I was thinking, yeah, that's really great, but what about Common Core, and what about the Idaho land coming back from the feds and that kind of thing. So these people could be a breath of fresh air, and they are very conservative. They're not just Republicans. They're very conservative, and we'd like people to get to know them so that they can see if that's who they want to vote for, and then we can get some new faces back into our Idaho lawmakers. All
right, Rita Ramsey, thank you. I always look forward to Thursdays to have you on the air. God bless. Have a wonderful week. We'll see you next Thursday morning.
Okay, and thanks, Seb. Bye.
Thank you very much. Nice lady right there, Rita Ramsey. You know, as Gina and I have talked about many, many times on this program, about this time of the morning we get so hungry, and this morning was kind of a rush. I don't even remember if I ate anything this morning, to be honest with you. So I'm, at this particular time, hungry and starving to death. And I know some great locations for you to go. How about Taco Bandito, 2301 Overland in Burley? Southern baked burritos, soft shell or grilled shell. Oh, they're good, made with chicken or steak. And check out the Tamalito burritos and the taco salad burritos and the chicken strip baskets, and everything is delicious. The chimichangas will knock your boots off. Great. Taco Bandito, 2301 Overland in Burley. How about burgers, etc.? Two locations. Rupert and Burley, 124 South Oneida in Rupert and 700 North Overland in Burley. They've got corn dogs and burritos, 99 cents after 3 p.m., and the best of hamburgers and cheeseburgers and all the goodies. And they've got great ice cream, and every Sunday shrimp dinner special at the Burley store. You're going to love burgers, etc. Two locations in Rupert and Burley. Let's move over to Steve-O's, 290 South, 600 west of Heyburn, and food made the way you like it. Oh, friendly servers, dedicated staff. You're going to love the menu. I mean, they've got everything over there. I love Steve's nacho fries, topped with cheese and jalapeno peppers. And, of course, the pork chops with salad and choice of potatoes. That's really, really good. All the food's good. You're going to love the people at Steve-O's, 290 South, 600 west of Heyburn. And we got a new one to add add to the list this morning. Duck Ugly, you better believe it, at 163 West Highway 30, right there going into Burley. You better believe it, next to Berry Equipment and Rental. And they've got a new menu that includes original burgers, but now serving dinners like ribeye steak, New York steak, shrimp, salmon, battered cod. Oh my goodness, and Duck Ugly's is kid and family friendly too. And they're open Tuesdays through Saturdays, 11 to 9:30. And I can guarantee you this, at Duck Ugly's, they serve a lot more than quackers. Ha ha. And don't forget, last but not least, the AC Drive-In at 601 East Main in Burley. Oh my. They've got the kids' baskets, and they got the combo meals, and they've got 3-piece fish and chips with small fry, only $7 1/4, and the famous Farmer Brown burgers. Oh, and they're known for their milkshakes. Open 11 a.m., close at 8:30, closed on Sundays. You're going to love the food. Nice people, too, at the AC Drive-In in Burley. And those are just a few great places to go when you're hungry and starving to death. And I am.
You know, and I honestly even had biscuits and gravy this morning, and I'm still hungry.
I don't remember eating. Everything turned into a blur this morning because we had to leave in such a hurry to get to the hospital, and I don't remember.
Did they feed you at the hospital?
Huh?
Did they feed you at the hospital?
No.
Then you haven't eaten, mister.
I'm a hungry little camper, and I'm on a diet, and I'm not supposed to eat a lot, but I think I'm going to forget the diet at lunch.
Deanne, bring them some extra cheese.
7-course meal.
There you go.
We're going to head for the news. I'll be back in 6. Don't go away. Oh, my. Hour number 3. You know, when I look through the clouds out the back window, I see a couple of patches of blue sky up there, so it's all is not dark and bleak. Maybe we'll have a little sunshine this afternoon. Welcome back, Zeb at the Ranch, brought to you by our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations serving you, along with some of our great advertisers, and that includes Ramsey Heating and Electric at 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley, and our friends at Lee's Furniture, Floors, and More at 459 Overland in Burley. And right now, here is Mr. Brent Lee.
Hey, Zeb, it's Jason Lee today.
Just like I said, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for Jason.
Well, Zeb, thanks for having me on. We've got a great anniversary special going right now. We've got so many things marked down here in the store. But to start off, how are you enjoying your pillow?
You know, I got to tell you something. That memory foam pillow absolutely is very, very important to me. I love my pillow. That's the slogan, but it's the truth. I mean, I've grown accustomed to using that, and it's been so comfortable. And believe me, folks, you need to get in there to check those out. The memory foam pillows at Lee's Furniture, Floors, and More. And you've got a bunch, don't you?
We sure do. And, you know, that's just one aspect of our sleep center that we have here in the store, focusing on helping people get a better night's sleep so they feel energized when they wake up, ready for the day, and so they're not dragging all day long. That's just one of the aspects. So the pillows, coming to the Beauty Rest, pocketed coil, mattresses. We've got the memory foam hybrids, which are outstanding mattresses. We've got just a number of different selections to choose to fit every individual person.
Absolutely.
Along with that, Zeb, we've got a lot of other specials in our upholstery. Some room settings that we've put together. We have a 14-piece living room set for only $9.99. That includes a sofa love set, 3 occasional tables, a pair of lamps, a rug, a throw, a 5-piece accessory set, all for just $9.99. So if you're needing to revamp that living room, come do it with this special group setting that we have. Multiple colors available in the sofa love sets. We've got many different table groupings. We've got lamp options. There's a lot to choose from.
Yeah.
And then for the people who say, you know what, I don't need all that, maybe I'm just looking for a sofa love. We've got sofa love sets grouping at $6.99, at $7.99, at $8.99 for the sets.
and so there's a lot of different options here to choose to fill up that living room.
Absolutely, and of course you're celebrating your big 67th anniversary spectacular, aren't you?
We sure are. You know, my Grandpa Ike started Lee's Furniture quite some years ago, and we're just trying to carry on from there. So we've 67 years. That's pretty long standing for a retail store.
Absolutely. I got to tell you something, folks, and this is from myself personally. The service, the people are really committed to service at Lee's Furniture, Floors and More, and we've seen that. My wife and I have seen that this past couple of weeks, and I just want to say thank you, but you will not find anybody better than service to their customers than Lee's Furniture, and I mean that.
Well, thanks. We do our best to make sure every customer is satisfied.
Well, now that you have appointed yourself head radio man, you did a great job this morning. Are you going to be with us every week? Have you kind of fired Brent, or what's the deal here?
Well, he's out of town, and so we're just here filling in. But yeah, we like coming on the show. Well,
you did a wonderful job. God bless you, and everybody get into Lee's Furniture, Floors and More for their big 67th anniversary spectacular, 459 Overland in Burley. Thank you so much, and I'll be talking to you later.
Thanks, Eb.
God bless. Thank you. Really nice people right there, and the service, as I said, spectacular. Hey, don't forget the Chadwick Sports Grill. What do they got cooking today? Oh, listen to this. This sounds so good. I mean, so good. Chicken marinara over fettuccine noodles. Oh, and soup or salad at the Chadwick Sports Grill, 139 West Main in Burley. All the sports memorabilia, everything on the walls. Just really kind of fun to go in there. The environment's great. The people are super, but the food's delicious at the Chadwick Sports Grill. You stop in and see them today. Ladies and gentlemen, we started a segment on this show probably a month, 2 months ago, and it's called School Days in Cassia County, and we're very, very honored to have two of our top sponsors on this segment. One, A Child's World at 1308 Overland Avenue in Burley, and by the way, they've got a wonderful new line of children's books in there, and they've got all the games, and they've got the infant shoes. They got a lot of the spring clothes already on the racks and ready to serve you, and remember, they always gift wrap for free. It is a family store at A Child's World, 1308 Overland Avenue in Burley. And also our thanks to Ambulatory Surgery Center at 1344 Highland Avenue in Burley. The number to remember and call, 677-8888. Remember, they have saved Mini-Cassia residents and around the southern Idaho area, patients hundreds of dollars, but with outstanding care for 14 years at the Ambulatory Surgery Center. And don't forget, life-saving colonoscopies are performed there. All you have to do is call, set up an appointment, 677-8888, the Ambulatory Surgery Center. And right now, School Days in Cassia County, we say good morning to the lovely, vivacious Debbie Critchfield.
Good morning. That's quite an introduction.
You know, I think you should have paid me for that.
I'll send you some chocolate in the mail or something.
Oh, yeah, I'm on a diet. That's going to help me a lot. Debbie...
I want to correct you really quick on something, though. We have been doing these segments since September.
Are you kidding me? Has it been that long?
No, it just goes to show you how our lives are just slipping right by us.
Well, and you have done, and I want to pay tribute to you, you've done an excellent job of lining up some really nice people to be on the program, some of whom their knowledge far exceeds mine, but we managed to muddle our way through it and make it interesting. I'm telling you, some of these people are really sharp cookies.
Well, I appreciate that, and you're a good host, and you seem to draw out the good conversation, so I appreciate that on your end.
Well, you know, this morning I feel honored to have you on the air because you're a real good spokesman for schools and Cassia County School Days. What's going on with the early release time for students every Monday? Explain that to us.
Every year we have a little bit of a discussion in the community regarding, well, why are my kids coming home an hour and a half early one day a week? And over the years we've tested some different days of the week, and so I just wanted to take a couple minutes and maybe check in with folks about why we do it and why Monday. One of the most important things that we can do to support teachers is to provide them continued professional development.
Mm-hmm.
their industry and career is no different than anyone else's in that there's always things to be learned and gained and changes, and hey, someone's doing it a little better over here. What can we glean from them? And our school district has made a commitment to our teachers that we will provide some time for them. I know that some would say, well, gosh, school's out at 3:30. Can't teachers, get some of that done on their own time? Most teachers are staying well beyond 3:30, and particularly our coaches, they're off, and so we've dedicated some time during the school week. We let school out an hour early, and during that time, our teachers meet either in teams or as faculties to collaborate. They bring in different people to instruct them on ways that they can go further with their students in the classroom.
Mm-hmm. Over the months that we've had this program on the air and over all the people that you've furnished for me to visit with, I really have learned, for lack of a better word, the dynamics of what's going on behind the scenes at the Cassia County school system and in what's going on in the classroom. And to be quite frank with you, I don't mind at all if these teachers take a little extra time to prepare themselves, because it sounds like things are changing every day, and they've really got to have some time to find out what the left hand's going to do that the right hand didn't catch up with.
That's exactly right. And especially with our new focus and increased instruction with writing, and that's across the board. We've got math teachers that are now incorporating pieces of writing into their classes. Some of our teachers aren't trained in very specific areas. They're a fantastic math teacher, but, they didn't get their training in writing. And so having an opportunity where they can work together, that is really showing some great results. And one of the great reasons we do it on Monday, and like I said, over the years, we did a Wednesday, we've done a Friday, and we know Fridays work the best as far as family and convenience, for those reasons. But the weekends are so packed with sports games that if the intent of this professional development time was to help teachers, we want to get the most teachers there that we can. And so that's the reason that the day was pushed to Monday for early release. And the other nice thing is something you learn on Monday, you've got the rest of the week. If you found some great tool or trick and you're like, hey, I'm going to put that into my lesson on Wednesday, you've got time to incorporate that.
Debbie, is it a problem with some of the parents on the early release on Monday? I mean, is there something that needs to be addressed here so that the parents understand?
I know last year there was some discussion in the community when the calendaring, the district-wide calendaring committee met, which includes parents and business persons and so forth, that it wasn't as convenient on a Friday, that it made more sense if you're going to get out early, let my kid get out early on Friday so that we could go do something on the weekend, or that, whatever plans needed to be had. It just seemed, for families, and I understand that, 100% having children in schools. However, again, if we're looking at what's the intent, why are we wanting to send kids home early? What can we do to maximize the amount of teachers there and give them an opportunity to incorporate something during the week? It fell to Monday as the most effective day.
I have been so impressed with the teachers and the technology and the caring. I think that's one word I want to throw in there, the caring of the teachers and the different personnel that you put on this program. And I really got to commend you on behalf of Cassia County Schools. I don't care if it's out at Raft River or Oakley or Burley or wherever, Declo, the people you've had on here, they are very innovative, very professional, and the thing that I've heard every program is that they really care for the kids.
I couldn't agree more. We have very dedicated teachers, and I would also extend that to our administrators, to our paraprofessionals. I think our teachers would say that they can't get things done in the classrooms without additional help. We have wonderful parental support, whether it's financial through fundraisers or carnivals or book sales, or coming in and helping things get accomplished. That is, I think, a real hallmark of our community, and just kind of radiates out from that that we value education and that we're doing all that we can to make our kids successful, because in the end, they're the ones that are going to be paying our Social Security. So
let me ask you a question.
We need them to be as successful as they can be.
Let me ask you a question here, Debbie, and it just kind of crossed my mind while you were talking. We hear a lot of griping. We hear a lot of complaining on a national level in regards to, well, the kids are learning all about technology and technocracy, and they're learning all about global education and everything, but they're not really learning how to express themselves, be it in written or verbal form. How would you respond to that?
I would say that is not the case. Technology is a tool. It's no different than a chalkboard and a piece of chalk, or a book, or a speaker that you have come in. Technology is opening up more resources within the classroom, and it's a valuable tool. Nothing replaces the teacher. Mm-hmm. And the reading and the writing and the critical thinking and being able to support your opinions, those things are in focus even more than they ever have been. I think we're realizing, just as a society, that we don't want a child coming out of school that just is like, tell me what the answer is. Is it A, B, C, or D? Tell me what to think. That doesn't serve anyone. And as we open things up and have kids really study and look across a variety of research sources, support your evidence. Tell me what you think. How is what you're learning, how is that going to be applied as you leave school, whether it's for college or a career?
Mm-hmm. The one thing I was completely unaware of is, before I started writing my book and writing my blog, I've always enjoyed writing, whether it's writing cowboy poetry or whether it's writing short stories. But really, to sit down and be dedicated to writing a book like I'm doing right now, and there's a lot of kids that probably have questions about expressing themselves and getting into writing. Do you have courses for that so that they can follow their dream?
I know that there are creative writing courses specifically in the high school setting, but as I mentioned before, writing is being integrated in every subject across the board, whether it's a science class or a math class. We all need to have those skills, and I think that education in the recent past has gotten away from that more than they should have. And I'm happy to see that there's been a stop and there's been a correction made, and a course correction. Let's get writing back in and into the schools, and you never know what that will spark with this particular student. Develop a skill or an interest there.
The only thing I ever wrote concerning my algebra class was the following statement: I don't like Mr. Lansing. But I guess that's old hat now, isn't it?
I don't know. Maybe some kids are writing that, behind the scenes too. But hopefully, our students are developing, that a little bit more. But there are ways, and we know this, and we've seen businesses say we're graduating kids who don't know how to write technical things, who don't know how to read technical books, and then review that and pass that on to a colleague. And so it's important, you can do the great science experiment, but you need to be able to explain what you did too.
Absolutely.
And that's through writing, and I think that's important.
Absolutely. Debbie, got about a minute left. Anything else you want to put in regarding
I have to put in a little something about our supplemental levy election on Tuesday. It's a renewal. We're hoping that the patrons will support it like they have the last 30-plus years. There is an increase from the last 7 years that will accommodate textbooks. $93,000 is the increase. But again, it helps defray so many of the expenses that we have for classroom materials and supplies and our school budgets, transportation. We can't do it without the community. We appreciate the support that they've given, and we hope that folks will go vote Tuesday, March 11th.
All right. Debbie Critchfield, wonderful job this morning, and I'll look forward to next Thursday. And, of course, Cassia County School Days brought to everybody by Child's World at 1308 Overland in Burley and Ambulatory Surgery Center at 1344 Highland Avenue in Burley. Thanks, Debbie. Appreciate it. And we'll look forward to Cassia County School Days next week on Thursday. Oh, my. Gina Jameson, we haven't had a lot of chance to talk this. Were you a good student in high school? Were you a very quiet, dedicated, pick up your books, go from class to class, not say anything student?
Who are you talking to now?
Or were you
I was a better college student than I was a high school student.
You know, I was too. I really was.
Yeah.
I was arrogant. I was non-committal. I was non-attention paying to the teacher in high school, especially Mr. Lansing. I know he passed away, but I still don't like the man. And I hated my math class, my algebra class.
Yeah, I didn't do math. Actually, I had to have a tutor for math from 7th grade all the way through my senior year. I had to have a special tutor for math.
Remember in, I forgot the name of the movie, Ferris Bueller's Day Off?
Bueller.
Yeah, no, Mr. Stein that played Bueller. That's what Mr. Lansing was like, and he would.
Mr. Forcey.
And did he talk in that nasal tone like that?
Yes, and actually, oddly enough, he was a teacher, but he was allergic to chalk, and so we constantly heard him honking his horn about a bazillion times every day.
But Lansing would stand up there, and he had this arrogant attitude about, oh yeah, there were his favorites in the class. Oh yeah, there were certain people that really grasped what was going on, but there were people like me that were looking at the woods and couldn't see it because the trees were in the way.
Exactly.
And he would make fun of us that if we didn't get it, he'd kind of make laughing subjects for the rest of the class. I sat in that class and devised ways to where I could hide his body.
And see, that's why I had to have a tutor, because, I mean, once math started, my eyes would just kind of glaze over, and it's like you could have been talking to a tree stump because I just didn't get it. And so I was never the favorite star pupil, at least not in that class.
I was in history class. I loved my history class teachers. I had two really outstanding teachers, and the one, Mr. Robb, used to take history and make it come alive in the classroom with the students. Like for the Revolutionary War, he'd pick some that were going to be the British and the others that were going to be the Americans and everything. And the same for the Civil War, the North and the South and everything. And you really learned from doing it that way. And we had a ball. I mean, our classroom to the outsider seemed like it was really disruptive and everybody was total chaos. But man, when it come time for the tests, everybody really hit the nail on the head.
And for me, actually, I had two favorite classes. One was actually English. I really did enjoy English.
Yeah.
I wonder why.
Yeah.
And then the other one actually was my senior year U.S. government class, because our teacher was kind of like the same as yours, and he got us very active, and we all played our separate roles as far as, how the U.S. government worked and the checks and balances. And so that was actually one of my favorite classes, was government.
Do you look back with remorse as to maybe you should have tried harder and listened more like me?
No.
I do. I do.
I was a talker in class, and I got busted more often for passing notes and talking in class than anything else. And my brother and I and our cousin Dusty, it was always a contest to see who could get the most attention. And, of course, mine was because I was talking so much in class.
I can't imagine that of you. I would have thought you would have been the little school Sally that would have sat there and just absorbed everything and would have been the class-perfect child.
Oh, no. Senior year in high school, I was voted most talkative and biggest flirt.
Really? Isn't that funny, though, what you just said? That most, and I'll say this about my high school, I don't know about yours, but most of the kids that were picked to be the most likely to succeed, the most likely to be a millionaire, the most likely this and that, they all turned out to be derelicts.
We had most likely to go to jail, and that person actually did. We had most talkative and biggest flirt, which was me. Of course, most talkative actually turned into this job. We had just a lot of, most likely to succeed, and that was Amy, and then most likely to do this and that. But the one I remember the most was most likely to go to jail, and that was Jeremy Meckel, and actually he did.
Oh, my. Well, we had a guy, I won't mention his name on the air, but he was the everybody in town thought he was the world's greatest at everything. He was the best athlete. He was the best student. He was the best of everything and was going to make billions of dollars. And the last I heard, he was still stocking shelves at a grocery store.
Really?
Yeah.
See, one of ours is we had Figure and Physique, and that went to Hardy Bain and Renice Jones.
Really?
And, yeah, and actually Hardy now is doing construction over in eastern Washington, and Renice is I think she's an apartment manager.
Really? Okay. Well, now that we've kind of bared our souls about Mr. Lansing and all your teachers and everything, and how I hated algebra class, we are now at this time going to leave this part of the program and turn it back over to you, and I will be back with Mr. Randy Hardy in about 3 minutes.
And now back to Zeb at the Ranch on AM 1230 KBAR. To reach Zeb, call 436-2244 or toll free 1-866-927-4587. And now, here is Zeb Bell.
Thank you very much and welcome back to our last half hour, and I'm very honored to have a good friend on the program with us for this last half hour. And I'm going to state his title, and if I'm wrong, he can correct me. The president of the National Potato Council, Mr. Randy Hardy from Oakley. Good morning, Randy. How are you?
Good morning, Zeb. Yes, you got that right.
Randy, you've done so much, you and your family, your wife, etc., for the potato, our great Idaho potato, but it looks like there's another slap in the face to the eating of potatoes or the furnishing of potatoes with the WIC program. What's going on with this?
Well, yeah, it seems like I've become kind of the head whiner of the potato industry. But that's why we're here, and we've run into another issue that we've been fighting here for 3 or 4 years, and we thought we had it resolved, but nevertheless, we did get shot down this past weekend. A little bit about it. I'm sure most people are aware of the WIC program. It stands for Women, Infants, and Children. It's especially designed to help single moms with young children who don't have sufficient incomes to provide the kind of meals that need to be prepared for the kids. And so this was actually started clear back in 1975, and through the years has progressed to where they concentrate on nutrition-rich foods that these individuals can get vouchers to go receive at supermarkets or wherever without having to pay for them. It's kind of like food stamps, but it's more centered on single moms, young children, and those who may need additional help, especially in their homes. And up until 2007, potatoes were included in that. And then when who reached the White House, they started targeting certain areas of foods. And for some reason, potatoes were right on the radar, and it all goes back to their dislike for French fries and fried potato products. We had one battle that we won a couple of years ago when they tried to limit the amount of potatoes used in school lunch menus.
Right.
And we were able to get that one turned around, and thanks to you and others. And we were much in the same position on this one with WIC. When they came out in 2007 and took white potatoes out of the WIC program. And so we've been battling since then to get them back in. Tried numerous times and haven't had any success. Finally, this year with the Farm Bill in the discussion, we were able to, through the work of the National Potato Council and even the United Fresh Fruit and Vegetable Association, get it in the Farm Bill where potatoes would be included in the WIC program. It was specifically all fruits and vegetables. And we also were able to tag it to the appropriations bill to do with the Farm Bill, where USDA had to make a statement if they were not going to include it, which we thought would cover it to where they wouldn't dare. But sadly enough, both of those things happened when the Farm Bill was passed. That language had been taken out, and it was back to exclude potatoes. When USDA made an announcement last Friday, they again reiterated that all fruits and vegetables except white potatoes.
Randy, who are these people that act as the Solomons that say yes or no? I mean, is it a group of people within the USDA? Is it someone from the White House? I mean, who are the people that are judge, jury, and executioner as to whether the potato is going to be in the WIC program or not?
Well, we feel like it's pretty close to the top because we've done an awful lot of work trying to garner support within Congress, both in the Senate and the House. And with these two appropriations that I spoke about, we had bipartisan support. It was headed up by Republican Susan Collins from Maine and Morris Udall from Colorado, who's a Democrat. And in the House, we had our own Mike Simpson and Representative Meeks from New York. Had all signed on to this letter and passed it around. Of course, we weren't going after majority, but we had enough to get it put in the bill and felt really good about it. And then when it was defeated, it was like it came down from the top. The Senate Agriculture Committee Chairman, Debbie Stabenow from Minnesota, said that she favored the inclusion of potatoes, but she was getting intense pressure from others. Mm-hmm. And eventually the decision came down from USDA, which is Secretary Vilsack. So that's kind of, I guess, where the blame lies. But you know, we obviously feel like he's been given some orders, and that this may be in retaliation for what happened with the school lunch.
Well, Randy, don't you feel...
The ironic thing about it, Zeb, is that they're using science from an Institute of Medicine research that was done back in the mid-'90s mm-hmm. that estimated how much starch that adults and children should have in their diet. And they're using that same research to validate what they're doing here, because they're basically saying that adults and children get enough starch in their diet without adding more potatoes to it. So people already eat enough potatoes, we don't need to give them more. But what they failed to do is use more recent research that was done in 2005 and again in 2010 that basically reversed that. And it was from the same Institute of Medicine that they released the findings saying that adults and children are not getting enough fiber. And that's what we continue to hear, in the media, is that we need more fiber in our diet.
Right.
Also, WIC, those who have a WIC voucher can go to a farmer's market and they can buy white potatoes. And that being because the White House and USDA wants to see farmers markets succeed. So it is just a series of research and results that combat each other and make absolutely no real sense other than they're out to get potatoes.
Randy, let me ask you this question, and believe me, this may sound naive, but I question sometimes whether the United States Department of Agriculture is really a department for the producers in the United States. It seems to me like they're almost sometimes at odds or enemies of the producers, be it in the beef industry or the potato industry. Do you agree or disagree?
I have mixed emotions about it, Zeb. We were at USDA a week ago and visited several offices. We were in AMS, and I can name a bunch of other acronyms, but for the most part, the people are very supportive of agriculture, especially those that deal with the producers. But I think what we run into is the parts of the USDA that deal with the American consumer, and areas like the school lunches, areas where those who are trying to change the way we eat have an impact. And so that's why we felt like we had everybody on our side, but we were never really sure about the secretary. And we don't really feel like he acted on his own in this week, because there's been immense pressure put on him to do the right thing. In fact, since Friday, I've received a letter from the National Potato Council office that has gone out to all the state managers, potato organizations, encourage them to contact their members in Congress, and also the letters directed to Secretary Vilsack to, basically change your mind, go back to what you said you would do, go back to what's right, go back to what is sound science if they want to use science, and do the right thing. Whether it will do any good or not, probably not this time, but we're going to continue to fight.
That brings up another point of discussion. Whether it's Mike Simpson, whether it's Crapo, Risch, it doesn't make any difference who it is, our state of Idaho or Maine or Wisconsin. Where's the backbone from these senators and congressmen to stand up for the produce, i.e. the potato, and stand up for the nutrition value and tell the White House basically that they're wrong?
Are you there?
Yeah, did you hear my question, Randy, or not? Hello?
No. I switched phones because I couldn't hear you very well. I did hear your question. It's interesting how things work in Washington, D.C., because, we've worked very closely with our constituency, and, of course, they're overwhelmingly in support. And we've gained support of a lot of other states, even minor producing states like in New York. Mm-hmm. And they can send a powerful message to the Secretary, to the White House, to other congressmen. But it's like we've seen in, things like Obamacare and holding the IRS responsible and what happened in Benghazi. It just seems like you reach a point where nobody can break through. Nobody can really get anybody to be responsible. And that's kind of what we run into here. We can get people on our side, and, Mike Simpson, bless his heart, has carried the torch on this in the House and also reaching over to the Senate and sponsored the bill that went into this farm bill. But then it all depends on what the White House does and how they direct the Department of Agriculture. It just dies somewhere in there.
It is really spooky to me as a consumer to think that the dietary guidelines are set now by a woman that was virtually an unknown. She doesn't have the schooling or the education to be a dietitian, and she's making demands on government controls of what we eat or don't eat. Doesn't that bother you as much as it bothers me?
Well, it bothers me a lot, especially when they claim that they're using science. They're using the best available nutritional guidelines, but then we can point out where they don't stand up to their own rules. For instance, I can go purchase sweet potatoes with my WIC card, but I can't purchase white potatoes. The only difference nutritionally in the two would be the beta-carotene, because the sweet potatoes are orange. Other than that, there is no difference. And some would argue, well, that's enough. But, is it really? And it's even interesting to point out that they've gone to the extent that with the WIC voucher, you can buy canned or frozen mixed vegetables as long as they don't contain white potatoes. And that's carrying it a little too far.
Absolutely. What kind of damage has this done to the industry already, Randy, or what do you see as repercussions down the road?
Well, money-wise, back in the farmer's pocket with not getting potatoes in WIC is, it's worth fighting for, but it's not the big issue. It's like you say, it's the direction that we're getting from Washington, D.C. on what we can eat and what we can't. Mm-hmm. And it seems like the potato industry has found itself defending its product forevermore, whether it's fresh or frozen or whatever it is. And yet, other nutritionists come out and tell us how good the vegetable is. It has a medium potato has around 100 calories. There's no fat, there's no cholesterol, there's no added sugar. There's lots of vitamin C, lots of potassium. Everybody loves them. Everybody knows that they can cook them for any meal in a variety of reasons, but for some reason we continue to fight the fried stereotype. Mm-hmm. We had an individual with us from one of the processors in the state, and I won't name it, but they said they actually have now a baked fry product. Fry just because that's what it looks like, but a baked product that instead of dipping it in oil, they actually spray oil on it and bake it in the oven. He said it's a very good French fry product, has less than 2% saturated fat. Mm-hmm. Not very many meals anywhere will get you less than 2% saturated fat. So there's products out there. We're using different innovation in the cooking oils we're using in the frying process that is changing that part of the world. But on the fresh side, We don't know why we have to continue to stand up for the viability of potatoes, because everyone will admit it's what you put on them. It's not the potato itself.
Absolutely. What are the chances of getting an audience with the hierarchy and changing some of their thought process and relating everything to science instead of just hyperbole that they want to make up on their own? I mean, what other avenues of approach can you use on behalf of the National Potato Council to change these edicts that look like they're political and from the White House?
It's really difficult, and of course, much of it has to be done legislatively. And we've heard from the sponsors of the bill that they're going to put pressure on Secretary Vilsack to explain why they failed to do what they said they would do. I can only say that for the average consumer that may be listening, I think it's just so important to pay attention to these things and voice your opinion. I mean, you can always write your own personal letter to Secretary Vilsack or to our own congressman, and those certainly will be passed along. What our next steps as a Potato Council is, I'm not real sure. I mean, we're certainly not done with it, and this can be approached again, but we kind of got blown out of the water with this one.
Randy, I said on my program one time, and I'm almost out of time on this segment, but I want to get your comments on this as a farmer and a president of the National Potato Council. But I made a comment on my program one time that with government control and the excessive government control that they want on us, the American public, I don't think it's out of reason for in the future maybe having what you might call grocery store cops that are going to look inside the grocery basket, look at you, your stature, your weight, your height, etc., and basically tell you what you can buy and eat or not. Do you think I'm far-fetched on that?
Well, 5 years ago I would have said you're crazy, but not now. Not with what I've seen with this issue and others that have happened. I heard on the radio just a couple of days ago that now they are looking into the amount of sugar content in people's diets. And when you start eliminating foods that have added sugar, and we've turned into a population that depends a lot on processed foods, and a lot of those processed foods have added sugar, which, to WIC's credit, they don't allow added sugar in anything that they give a voucher for. But when they start, controlling the amount of sugar in a person's diet, you can imagine what that's going to do to what our grocery store looks like.
Absolutely. Well, you know that you have a friend here that anytime you need to get something out in front of the public, we'll be more than happy to, and I wish you the best of luck, and I mean that, as president of the National Potato Council. Randy Hardy from Oakley, God's blessings to you, and come back on the air more often. I've enjoyed it.
I certainly will, Zeb, and thanks for the support you are to us.
You betcha. Have a great day. Thank you so much. I'm a big fan of the potato, and of course I was raised in that direction with the meat and potatoes type atmosphere. And like Randy stated, it's not the potato, it's what you put on them. It's a very, very healthful food with the potassium and the dietary fiber and everything else. And I am sick and tired. I am sick and tired of letting one woman, namely Mama Obama, dictate to the American public what they can, what they can't have, what they will buy, what they can't buy possibly in the future, and what they will eat under government edicts. And it's time, past time, that we stood up and said to the government, no, we'll have our personal responsibility, and we will eat what we want. Time for a weather update brought to you this hour by Scarrows Meats, 331 North Road in Jerome. And don't forget, they've got all the best of pork and beef and chicken. And this has been a locally owned custom meat processor serving the Jerome and southern Idaho area for over 20 years. I can vouch for how great these people are. Absolutely. Ask about their 24-hour processing where they sell taste one bite at a time. And that's Scarrows Meats, 331 North Road in Jerome, 324-7657. Here now, Michael Rogers Weather.
Hello, everyone. Michael Rogers from MichaelRogersWeather.com. And took 2 showers this morning, and then it's going to pretty much stay yucky all the way through the day. You could even possibly see something we haven't seen all winter long. That's called a thunderstorm. How about that? Winds are going to be out of the west at 10 to 20 miles an hour. That's what happens when you got a cold front. Daytime highs, well, you're going to be right around the mid to upper 50s for today. Overnight lows will be in the mid to upper 30s. Have a great day. Enjoy the weather. It is the only weather you got.
There you go, Michael. Thank you very much. Brought to you by our friends at Scarrows Meats. Oh, my goodness, they are good. Selling taste one bite at a time at 331 North Road in Jerome, 324-7657. Really, really good people. Let me see if I got anything else I've got to remind you of. Real quick, I want to say that next week on Saturday the 15th, the Sportsmen for Fish and Wildlife will have their 12th annual Magic Valley Chapter Banquet and Fundraiser. This is going to be at the Canyon Crest Event Center in Twin Falls. Doors open at 5:30, dinner at 6:45. And my dear friend Jack Euler gave us this yesterday. It's a rally for wildlife, and you can win a lot of great prizes too. Don't forget, Sportsmen for Fish and Wildlife, 12th annual Magic Valley Chapter Banquet and Fundraiser, Saturday, March 15th at the Canyon Crest Event Center in Twin Falls. Okay? And tonight through Saturday, Minico High School is going to perform Hello Dolly. This is a great play, a lot of fun, and they're going to have performances start at 7 p.m. each evening and a matinee on the 8th at 1 p.m. You can get your tickets from any cast member or at the door for Minico High School's Hello Dolly. Okay. Real quick, I also want to remind you about a great big tire sale that's going on as I dropped all the papers on the floor. Big tire sale at your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. Oh my, are you aware of all the tires, all the tread designs, all the different usages, all the different driving, everything else on the tires that you buy, they know all about them. Like the Proxis 4 Plus, great performance tire, 47% more tread life, shorter stopping distance, quieter ride, on sale right now at your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, along with the best in brake service, all the custom wheels, front end alignment, shocks and struts, batteries, and the best of service. Absolutely the best of service with Lane and Rupert, Dave on Blue Lakes and Twin, Mike and Buell, Mike and Jerome, Twist Family and Paul, John on Poline in Twin Falls, and Randy on Overland in Burley, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. Gina, we made it another week, even though I wasn't so sure about this morning.
Well, hey, you know what? We made it through in pretty much flying colors, so I am not going to complain. The week is almost done and over with.
And I promise I will not call you at 5:30 tomorrow morning.
If you call me at 5:30 tomorrow morning, it better be an emergency.
Well, it was this morning.
This morning it was, but tomorrow, I'm just saying, tomorrow's my one day I actually get to sleep in.
You know, and the same is for us. I turn the alarm off, I bury it in the drawer, and I defy that phone to ring. And if it does, I'm not very friendly to the person on the other end.
Usually I just shut the ringer off on mine, so you can call, but I ain't going to hear it.
Got a big weekend planned?
Not really. Maybe just working on the cars. Other than that, I think I'm just going to relax for the weekend.
Okay, well, about the same for us. However, I'm getting up a little bit more, walking a little bit more, doing a little bit more, and things are healing up a little bit more, and looking forward to warmer temperatures and some sunshine so I can really start to feel better.
Well, you will. Just remember, take it easy, okay?
Yeah.
Don't push yourself too hard.
I know. I found that out this morning.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to wrap it up for this week, and next week I've got to remind everybody, this is very important as our schedule has dictated, and it looks like it's going to come to fruition. Next Monday at 10:06, we are going to have nationally and internationally known Lieutenant Colonel Oliver North on our program for about a 12 to maybe 14-minute interview at 10:06 next Monday morning. So don't forget that, and we're also going to have Frosty on the air, Alliance Defending Freedom. We've got all kinds of goodies planned for next Monday, so don't miss the program. Zeb at the Ranch, coming to you live on KBAR 1230, streaming live, zebbell.com, all over the universe. We will see you next Monday at 8:06, the way things were, the way things ought to be. God bless. Have a great weekend.